And good morning again, everybody. It's a Saturday, the 30th of August, 2025, Labor Day weekend. I'm Peter Boyles. We're on the air everywhere, 710 KNUS Denver's talk station, 78 degrees and some rain. That's our high today on a Saturday, 55. And then Labor Day weekend really comes on strong. 80 tomorrow, 82 on Labor Day itself, and comes back to work Tuesday. It's going to be 80 to 82 degrees. So good stuff. We're in standby right now for Stephen Tubbs. I think people know that Stephen went through cancer surgery, and we were lined up to do the show with Stephen this morning at 9 o'clock. He is not answering the phone. I'm sure there's some good reasons for it. As soon as we get to Steph, we'll bring him on. Brando from Devil's Head, it's his daughter's birthday. Got to bring him on, stick him on the air. And then Hannah Metzger with us from Westword. And this is really a despicable story, and as always, Westword does the great job. But as you know, there's Denver Crime Expo, and the Ramsey, John Ramsey, Hal Haddon, that lawyer, Uncle Hal, the kiddy's pal, and none other than Paula Woodward, one of the great laydowns in Denver media history, proclaiming the family innocence of the Ramseys. Well, CrimeCon, and I will read our guest, is seemingly avoiding other mentions of the case. An exhibition booth for the documentary film JonBenét's Tricycle was canceled after organizers confirmed members of the Ramsey family, well, according to the email, were offended. So the headline in Westword, Denver Expo cancels booth on JonBenét's documentary after booking her father to speak. The organization said the cancellation is out of respect for the Ramseys. I love that, out of respect for the Ramseys. But the filmmaker argues CrimeCon is controlling the narrative. Of course they are. So Hannah will be in our studio coming up. And then, I don't know how much of this you watched, but it's even beyond professional wrestling. Raja Jackson, who is the son of, and it is interesting to watch this, his dad, Rampage Jackson, was a great MMA fighter. Actually, he fought here in Denver. I saw him fight. And his son, I don't even know how to explain his son. His name is Raja, R-A-J-A. And he attacks this guy in the ring named Syko Stu. I love professional wrestling names, S-Y-K-O-S-T-U. And he almost keeps trying to kill him. I watched it. And this guy jumps in the ring, and his name is Douglas Malo, and he wrestles under the name of the Epic. And great work by Adam Walker. He's going to be on the show with us. So we got a bunch of stuff going on, but we're coming out of the box backwards with Stephen not with us. So we can do some open lines. You want to get Brando, if we can find him. 303-696-1971. Beginning of Labor Day weekend, everybody hides out. I watched the CU Buffs last night, too. I've really become, I don't know if I say a football fan, but a watcher, because there's so much around the coach. And it was a hard loss. And playing Georgia Tech, I mean, that was tough. But it was just really the end of the game, 27-20. They'll be back. They'll play again. So here we go. What, Stephen? I don't know. I know he feels much better. He was going to come home from the hospital, and I think he was coming home yesterday, but we'll see. And then I'm waiting for Hannah Metzger. The whole Ramsey debacle, and the important part of that story, and it's the part that all the Ramsey defenders forget, is that the grand jury in the Ramsey case wanted to indict them. Charlie Brennan was working at the time for the Boulder Daily Camera. And he did this great work. And it's been a long time, but Boulder District Attorney Alex Hunter, and I was there standing next to name drop, Geraldo Rivera. And I was doing a lot of Geraldo's television shows. We were doing lots of people's television shows. But Alex Hunter steps up to the podium, and everybody was standing out in the in the parking lot of the Justice Center. And there was a moment where the guy who wrote the book Perfect Murder, Perfect Town, and if you remember Lawrence Schiller, who had written the first book, he had written a book entitled American Tragedy about O.J. He had written a lot of other stuff as well. So we were all milling around, and I got to know him a little bit. Charlie Brennan did a lot of the heavy lifting for Schiller on that book, Perfect Murder, Perfect Town. So Schiller's coming down the hallway. This is a true story, and I'm inside the Justice Center, and he said, Alex Hunter is typing up the indictment. That's what he told me. Alex Hunter is typing up the indictment. After all of those years almost of work, I thought, damn, they got them. And then, of course, Alex comes out to the podium, and like yesterday, it feels like, but rather he announces that there are, well, he said, let me just find the exact words of Alex Hunter, one of the great battling DAs. I and my prosecution task force believe we do not have sufficient evidence to warrant a filing against anyone who had been investigated at the time. Now, that was October the 13th, 1999. Spent a couple of nights researching back into time. And I could never understand Hunter. I used to talk to him. I no longer talk to him. But then comes time passes. This is, again, Charlie Brennan's great work. From inside the grand jury, and Charlie was with the camera at the time, he has a source who was a grand juror and told Charlie they wanted to indict both John and Patsy for the murder of that little girl. It names both of them, John and Patsy Ramsey, child abuse resulting in death. That was the beef. And the Ramsey case over the years has taken its own life. Hunter left office in 2001. Boulder Police Chief Mark Beckner, remember Mark Beckner? He said he would also not discuss, remember he said the grand jury. At the time when this happened, there's a true story, I was writing for Bill Owens, writing some things for Bill Owens who would appear on the Today Show and some of the other morning shows. And he was very excellent at this because he knew, as many of us did, who the murderer was. It was Patsy Ramsey. And so if you've ever been in the governor's office, and I've been twice, there's a big board meeting hall room that must have, well, the big table, and has maybe 20 chairs, 25 chairs. It's huge. And one of the great things that Bill Owens did is he put together a task force of so many of people in law enforcement. He had the FBI, he had CIB, Colorado Bureau of Investigation, CBI, and he had murder squads. I remember Dave Machad was offering his murder squad to go up to Boulder and do all the work that they could, and they were turned back. They didn't want the murder squad there. So, and all the DAs were there, and I remember it so well. And Bill Owens asked, "How many of you believe the murderer was?" And every hand went up, and yet they waltzed away. So now comes this ridiculous crime expo, and John Bonet's documentary is canceled out of respect to the Ramseys. It's pretty ridiculous. So we're going to take a look at that with Hannah, and then Doug Malo, the epic. And I've watched this video now 3 or 4 times. He would have killed that guy. he would have killed him. And I'm surprised he hasn't been arrested. But we have the guy who dove into the ring, Douglas Malo, the epic. And you can see there's people standing around. And it was amazing. We can take some calls. We're waiting for some folks to join us. In Wheat Ridge, Colorado, this is Mike. Mike, thanks, man. You're on the show. Good morning.
Good morning, Pete. Mike, you're a retired cop friend.
Oh, man.
But I just wanted to talk in reference to the whole Ramsey thing and whatever. Lost a DPD legend this week, Tom Haney, and in reference to the whole Ramsey thing, he's the one that finally got under Patsy Ramsey's armor and interviewed Patsy. And, you know, had we had the case from the beginning, I was in the crime lab at the time of the Ramseys working that morning, and, you know, Dave Bashad reached out to
I know he did. I know he did.
And we, you know, all Beckner wanted was the alternative light source, and from us. And you know, Bashad said, "Look, Mark, you're not capable of handling this. This is going to be a really difficult homicide. You got a little girl murdered inside her home. This is going to be a tough case. Let me send a couple homicide guys up there, and let me send our, you know, lab crew up there, and let us walk you through with this, because this is an inside thing. This is not going to be what you think it is. And you know, just from what you're telling me, this note on the steps and this whole thing, this is not a kidnapping. This is not.
No.
This is
No.
You know, you need to seal this thing down. You need to get these parents downtown. You need to start. Let me send a couple guys up there. But, you know, Tom was the one guy of all people that really got to Patsy, you know, and finally got to, in my opinion, you know, what for opinions are like, you know what.
No, they're not.
But when you saw her lean across that table, you saw the real Patsy Ramsey. And I believe, you know, because I had a buddy that was one of the first Boulder cops there. And, you know, he swears up and down that, you know, because he transferred to Denver. He's on Denver now. And, you know, he said that little girl was not there. He said the house isn't that big.
No, she was. She was in the house. Her body was in the house.
And, you know, he believes that she went back down there, that they put her back, because he said that, you know, it was his theory that she initially had been moved back down there.
I think her body may have been moved, and when John, quote, discovers her body, he brings it upstairs.
That was his theory. His theory was, because all along, you know, John kept saying that I got to go. I got to go to the post office. I got, you know, this, that, and the other thing. Because, you know, initially the cops said, you know, we got little kids hide, and so.
Well, if I could stop you for a second, the body never leaves the house. That little girl never left the house.
Correct.
And there's so many telling parts about this, and how the Boulder cops really screwed this up. And the Ramseys had status in Boulder, and it's one of the reasons I think that Schiller picked Perfect Town as one of the subtitles, or Perfect Murder, Perfect Town for the title. When we would go to Boulder, and we would go to Boulder often, we did radio shows in Boulder, we were hated. The people who lived in Boulder hated us, because how dare we do what we did. And if you remember on New Year's Eve, and I've talked to Fleet and Priscilla White, and Patsy Ramsey is so pilled up and half drunk, and that's when she went on CNN hold your babies close. There's a killer out there. And then the mayor had to come on and say, there is no killer out here. The mayor was bright enough to figure it out. And the grand jury voted to indict Patsy and John in 1999. And I hope John's listening this morning. I hope Paula Woodward's listening. I hope Hal Haddon's listening. But they had a lawyer. I mean, they dummied up. And they had a lawyer by sundown. And they had, I think Brian Morgan was their first lawyer. And he represented John Ramsey through the grand jury process. Hal Haddon, I think they had, Hal Haddon, who was a big Democrat power broker, and they had him too. And but to treat this kid's film out of the respect for John Ramsey, how can you have respect for that man?
Well, see, the bottom line on this, I mean, if you needed to seal that house initially and get those people downtown, seal it up, get them into separate rooms.
If you look at OJ, what they did. Look at out in Aurora, there was a Aaron A. Thompson, and Aurora put on a clinic with that family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And OJ, I mean, you look at how bad Lang and Van Etter screwed that thing up. They had carte blanche.
They had him
on OJ.
They had him.
I mean, they had him.
Yep.
They gave him a 1-hour interview. I mean, they treated him with kid gloves. I mean, you know what? Any seasoned good detective could have gotten OJ to break. Just like, so what? John and Patsy lawyered up. If we'd have sealed that house up, I guarantee you we could have found, Linda Van Hart.
Hang on, Mike. Let me put you on hold for a second and take Brando because he's busy. He's working. What line's he on? 3. You got him? Brought him up? Okay. I have discovered this man and his company, Devil's Head Choppers. And they have been so terrific to me. And he's now a new dad, but his daughter turns 1 year old today. Brando, first of all, man, congratulations on the new baby for you and your wife. We're going to talk about building a 2-wheeler, but I'll tell you what, today, how do you feel, man? Your daughter's already a year old.
Oh, I'm feeling old.
Wait.
I'm 1 year older than last year.
Wait. And so what Brando did, I got to tell you something. He's become such a good friend. So he's got the newborn son. And how old's Brandon? He's like, how old is he now?
Baby Brandon is a little over a month old. And he was about 5 weeks premature. So they're exactly 11 months apart.
He hands me.
And I'll tell you, it was so poignant when I finally realized we were down at Children's Hospital in Colorado Springs, NICU. Those people were fantastic. When I realized, I was like, every year I'm going to have kids that are the same age for a whole month.
Well,
the old Irish twin thing.
Do you know what you did so I go in the office, and so his baby's all wrapped up, and he said, here, hold him. And then he walks out of the office. And can you hang on a second? We need to sell something and do something. I know you're busy this morning. Give me a quick break, and I'll bring you back. Hang on.
Sure, absolutely.
All right, throw them on. All right, everybody, and we're trying to get a hold of Stefan. Everybody, stay here. Hannah Metzger on the Ramseys. Doug Malo, the wrestlers. Stay here. Day weekend, everyone. Saturday, August 30th, 2025, 78 the high. A little bit of rain. Tomorrow, Sunday, 80, 82 on Labor Day, and 81 on Tuesday. Coming up, Hannah Metzger's in our studio, writes for Westword about the Crime Expo canceling the Ramsey film. But with us now, he's become a dear friend, and his name is Brando. They own Devil's Head Chopper. I got to tell you what you did, and his son is, well, how old is he now, Brando? He's like
like 5 weeks old, 6 weeks old, something like that.
Do you? I was down at their shop, and I was in the office with Brando. You hand me the baby and walk out. Do you remember doing that?
Yeah, I remember doing that. I think I was juggling three or four people besides you, and I was like, "Here's the baby."
I'll
be back.
And the baby had just woken up, and so I haven't held a baby in so long. And here's this little guy, and he had oxygen in his nose because he's premature. And I'm looking at this little guy, and I'm thinking to myself, your whole life is ahead of you. Your whole life. You know, you've got great parents, but I'm just holding him.
Great parent and his mom.
Yeah, he's got a great mom. He's got an outlaw for a
I don't know
father.
about the dad.
Yeah, he's got an outlaw dad. But it was like this really interesting moment. I can't explain it. And it all the way riding back, I just went like, wow. But there's this little bitty guy, and he's a good guy. And he was like rubbing and his oxygen would come out of his nose, and I'd help him get it back in there. And I just want you to know that was really a cool moment for me. And there he is. Yeah.
I'm glad I could help with that. He's he's a little dude, but he's mighty, and he's putting on weight like crazy.
Is he?
And we're just so happy to have him. And it's so cool because it's like looking in a mirror.
Yeah.
Minus the beard. Feeding him in the middle of the night or something. But yeah, we're excited for him, and we're excited that it's Money's first birthday, and we're definitely very blessed.
Well, I'm going to try and get down for the birthday. I drove in this morning, didn't ride in, so I'm going to.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, so I got two things to do, and I get on a bike and come and celebrate the birth of Monroe. So Monroe's now a year old.
It's not her birthday. It's just an anniversary of it.
Very well said. I tell you, but this special work, Devil's Head Choppers, and this is a special guy. Bubba, thanks. Thank you very much. I'll see you a little bit this afternoon. Be safe.
All right. Appreciate you, Peter.
Bye. All right, bye. Let me go back and finish this call, and our guest is here. This is Mike in Wheat Ridge, who was a retired Denver cop, and we're talking about what's coming up on the Ramseys. So you want to wrap that part of it up, and then Hannah's here.
Well, I'm anxious to hear what Hannah has to say, but I'm just saying, Peter, that, again, it's just crime scene 101. Again, had we had that case, the Ramseys go downtown, separate them. Blake, the child would have went to protective services, and, we'd have sealed that thing up, got a search warrant, because here the detective drags her body, lays it underneath a Christmas tree, prays with, the Ramseys. I mean, this is it's ridiculous. They've got a non-homicide detective that she's a sex assault detective. She's never handled a homicide. I mean,
she had been a clown show. Well, she had been a mall cop for the Boulder Mall, and they wanted diversity, and they brought her into the job. But in many ways, I felt bad for her because remember, this is the holidays. Let me just bring our guest in during this. This is Mike, who's a retired Denver cop. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the radio show. Hopefully not for the last time. Hannah Metzger is our guest. She's with Westword, and she did the story about what happened at CrimeCon. Move in real close to the microphone and move a little bit to your left, and put your nose on it, and there you are. Hey, good morning. Thanks for coming on the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Mike's talking about, as a cop, how bad the Boulder PD was. And if you remember, the note that I'd bet my hat that Patsy wrote said, "We're watching the house, and if we so much as see a cop, she's dead. The little girl's dead." What's the first thing Patsy does? Dials 911. And has and again, the first two cops that get there, because it is the holidays and all the senior guys have their time off, and the two cops who get there, I don't want to say they're rookies, but I think they're first or second year cops. And in a situation like this, Mike was saying, there's protocol, there's procedure. You empty the house, and none of that, of course, was done. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. What's your background? So who you are? I mean, where'd you grow up and went to school and all of that?
Well, I'm born and raised in Colorado. I grew up in Aurora. I went to college at the University of Colorado Boulder.
All right.
And I've been working as a journalist since 2020.
Wow. When you work for Patty.
Yes, I do.
She's the best.
Yeah,
she really is the best. So, Mike, what would you like to say? And then I'm going to cut off and then switch over with Hannah, if you would. Your last comment.
I think I said it well. Like I said, we lost Tom Haney, and what you saw when you got Tom in the room with Patsy is you had a seasoned homicide investigator that's not impressed with Patsy and her money. But what you saw, if you ever watched the interview with him, you saw him get right into her grill, right into her soul, and you watched her lose it. And for just a brief second, you watch her turn into the Patsy that John Benet saw that night.
Well, he was a good friend, and he and I had a lot of conversations about this crime. And he, like so many of us, was convinced that the real killer was Patsy Ramsey.
100%, as am I.
Yeah.
And you.
Yeah.
But, we lost a good man. They don't make them like Tom. And I'm glad that, like I said, that you had conversations with him, because that says it all, Pete.
Lengthy conversations that went on and on and on. Take care of yourself, brother. Thanks,
Take
man.
care.
Bye.
Thanks, Pete.
Well, you're a very young woman. What do you remember about the crime as initially? I mean, the Ramsey murder.
I actually wasn't born yet when it occurred.
I would have thought that, yeah.
Yeah, so I have no memory of it happening live. It was just kind of something in my periphery growing up because, of course, I was in Aurora. I wasn't too far away, so I'd always been aware of it.
Do you remember the Aaron Thompson murder, the little girl? Do you remember that one?
No, I don't.
Yeah, that was a case not unlike the Ramsey case, but the Aurora PD put on a clinic, and they got the stepmother and father, and the stepmother died and the father's in prison. They had killed that little girl, and like I said, the clinic was put on by the Aurora police, and but how much research or reading have you done on the story in general?
I would say an extensive amount. I've watched
Good for you.
most of the documentaries that exist. I've followed the news coverage since
Good
I've
for
been
you.
working as a journalist.
Read Perfect Murder, Perfect Town?
I did not read that.
Well, that was the first of the books, and it was Lawrence Schiller, and they call him a researcher, but he's really excellent, Charlie Brennan. Mm-hmm. And after John Ramsey and Patsy Ramsey are not indicted, and Charlie Brennan went on to understand and uncover that the grand jury voted to indict them in 1999 in the death of John Benet. Mm-hmm. And Hunter did nothing, and Mary Lacey did nothing. What do you do with all of that?
Me personally?
Yeah. I mean, can I ask you, like, it's away from the woman who writes the excellent story, but just as an investigator, what do you do with something like that?
Well, I don't think it's uncommon for the district attorney's office to have a kind of conflict with local police and reach different conclusions about how solid a case is and whether prosecution is possible. I'm working on a cold case article right now that has a kind of a very similar dynamic. But I do think a lot of the decision might have been kind of in the wake of the O.J. Simpson trial and of the fear of getting it wrong or moving too quickly and trying to prosecute and then having them acquitted.
And there was an awful lot of strange politics, you're nodding your head, involved in Boulder. And who was involved with whom business-wise, culturally, friends, and the overwhelming evidence that we were able to garner was, and you listen to this police officer, he just passed away. Tom Haney was just a great cop, murder cop, and he said, yeah. I mean, the FBI said, yeah. I mean, everybody said, yeah. And it always left this giant hole in what really was going on when the grand jury voted to indict and Alex Hunter came out and said what he said. Threw a lot of us off. And so tell me what happened at the expo.
So basically, CrimeCon is a true crime media convention. It's coming to Colorado for the first time ever. And a local documentary filmmaker who made a documentary titled JonBenét's Tricycle had applied to be an exhibitor there. And in July, he reached out looking for details, and the organizers told him that they had decided to cancel his exhibitor booth because they had confirmed that members of the Ramsey family were going to be in attendance of CrimeCon. We later learned that is, of course, John Ramsey, and they wanted to be respectful of his attendance.
That's almost laughable. Have you seen? I've not seen the film, JonBenét's Tricycle. Have you seen it?
Yes, I've seen it.
Talk about it.
So generally, it's not about solving the case. It doesn't really make any opinions regarding who may have killed JonBenet. It's kind of about how true crime turns into pop culture. It's about people who collect murderabilia type things, which this documentary filmmaker does as well. And it's all centered around him and his ownership of a tricycle that he believes belonged to JonBenet. So
where did he get it?
He says he got it in an alley beside the Ramsey house in 1997 after they had moved away. And he also claims to be in possession of one of the candy canes that was outside of their house and all of the photos. And I believe he said a bag of microwavable popcorn that belonged to them.
God.
So he has, and he's a collector of many, many things. He's a very eccentric man. So it's not, he doesn't have, I would say, an obsession with this case in particular, but he collects all things. And those are
So
some
he
of his
thinks
things.
he has the trike
Yes.
and a candy cane?
Yes.
And what else?
A bag of microwavable popcorn.
Well, tell me the film before. I mean, that's almost, that's macabre. That's the word, isn't it? It's like macabre to God.
Yeah.
And you write in your piece, the documentary does not speculate who murdered her, instead revolving around how the case was treated by the media. Let's talk to that, if you would.
Yeah, he goes through a lot of the tabloids at the time. He has copies of dozens of them, and kind of just discusses how they treated it, a lot of in terms of her pageantry and the photos they were using of her, and how it just became kind of a national media circus instantly, and how that contributes to how the public discusses it and how we think of it as a pop culture type thing.
I knew those guys when they got here. Remember, they're checkbook journalists. And if you talk to Patricia Calhoun, she wrote a piece about it. They were Fleet Street guys, and they're all headquartered in Florida. If you're just joining us, I'm sorry. Good morning, everyone. 710 KNUS, Denver's talk station. Kind enough to come in our studio, and she did a great job. Her name is Hannah, and it's Metzger. Works for Westword, and Denver Expo cancels booth on JonBenet Ramsey documentary after booking her father to speak. So they came, and they had been out prior to coming here. They worked on, well, the guys that I knew worked on the OJ case and worked on Princess Di. And they would write a check for your story and Carol McKinley and I were headed out to, there was a woman who was their maid. I don't know if you remember. I think you write about her in your piece. She was the housekeeper for the Ramseys. And I think her name appears, or somebody's name appears someplace. Anyhow, so Carol and I, we got a minute to the break. Carol and I were going out. She lived in a trailer with, and Patsy was blaming everybody and blamed her and then blamed her live-in. And so we came around the corner and there's a pickup truck, new pickup truck, and we knew that she had sold her story. And that would negate her now, because remember the woman, there's a woman who saw OJ leaving the vicinity, but she sold her story. And the minute you sell your story, nobody wants anything to do with you. Yeah, you're nodding your head, you know that. Let me do this. I got music in the background. I got to take a break. We'll come back. Hannah Metzger is our guest. I'm Peter Boyles. We're waiting to hear from Stefan. Also coming up, Douglas Malo, who pulled the wrestler off of Raja Jackson, saving his life. 710 KNUS Denver's Talk Station. Morning, everybody. Labor Day weekend. 78 the high today. Johnny Cash in the background. It's sunny at 80, 82 Monday, and 81 on Tuesday. Real quick, tell everybody about Danny Kaplis. Go back to great guest. Dan Kaplis' law firm, and talked that we were texting yesterday, Dan and I. Dan suggests you choose a lawyer that shares your values, because who you choose to represent you in an injury case says so much about you and everybody else involved in the case. Danny's dad, of course, was a cop, and we've talked about his mom, and dedicated the last 40 years of his life to helping people who are injured, hurt in serious motor vehicle crashes. He's the only attorney, believed to be the only attorney in history of Colorado to win 5 straight multi-million-dollar verdicts in Colorado crash cases, also believed to have won the largest truck crash verdict in Colorado history. Dan Kaplis Law, the official law firm partner of the Nuggets now and the Colorado Avs. Danny is a serious firm for serious cases. He helped my family. Dan accepts righteous injury cases on percentage fee basis. He's been a longtime friend. He is a good man. He can represent good people in all walks of life without regard and ability to pay. If you need help, call Danny right now. Just even a question, 303-770-5551. 303-770-5551, or on the internet, it's Kaplis, C-A-P-L-I-S, kaplislaw.com. In our studio, and I read her piece, and I didn't know, because very few people were covering this, if any, and Hannah did. She's from Westword. Hannah Metzger is with us, about how the Denver Expo, Crime Expo, cancels a booth on a John Ramsey documentary out of respect for the Ramseys. We were talking. Linda Hoffman Pugh was the housekeeper, and and Patricia remembers a lot of this. We were trying to find Patty Calhoun and put her on a show with us, but they were pay to play. You know, if you wanted to sell their story, if you wanted to sell a story to them, they would buy it, and this became the hottest story in our country. It really was. I mean, and there seemed to be, and this is something that Kaplis was working on actually, an endless supply of these pictures of this little girl and videotapes of her performing. I mean, every day there was a new picture. Every day, and as her, and show clothes, I guess. I don't know what else to call it. And man, it just got really crazy. Mm-hmm. And then through the grand jury, and the grand jurors apparently got to see everything, far more than anything we all got to see. And they came out and said they voted to indict them both. And Alex Hunter did nothing. Patsy died, and John now, I guess. What's the expo about? What's the Crime Expo about?
So it's generally a true crime media convention, so it's about true crime cases of all kinds, many. There's going to be a lot of exhibitors that are going to be covering specific cases, but also just kind of true crime podcasters will come and do this. He is having a speaking engagement there with Paula Woodward and with his lawyer.
There it is.
Where they're discussing, how they put it was, where the case is now, why it has taken so long, and where they want to go moving forward.
How innocent John is.
Right. That does seem to be the stance of CrimeCon.
Yeah. And they didn't want this young man to show his film?
He wasn't even going to show the film. He was just going to have a booth, or he was applying for a booth where he would sell copies and just kind of promote the film, because it was made in 2017, 2018, but it has recently been put on streaming services in the last year. So he just kind of wanted to promote what he's been doing, what the film is. He would have brought the tricycle, which I think might have been their largest issue with it. Because
he had the bike?
Yeah, they said in their email to him that they were worried that the imagery would be upsetting to the Ramseys.
Please. So they book 3 speakers. Paula Woodward, who, that's ridiculous. Hal Haddon, Uncle Hal, I started to call him Uncle Hal, the kitty's pal, and of course John Ramsey himself. Who got paid, or did they pay to play?
I believe that they're paid to speak there.
So they're paying John Ramsey to proclaim his innocence.
I believe, yeah, that they pay the speakers to attend, but I can't say definitively, but that is my
And
understanding.
the other people pay to buy a booth.
Yes, the exhibitors have to pay $1,250 to have a booth at the event.
So this guy, Andrew Novak is his name?
Mm-hmm.
He would have paid $1,200 to, not to show the JonBenet's tricycle, but rather to promote it.
Right, and to sell copies and merchandise.
And you write the documentary, you saw it, I have not. The doc does not speculate on who murdered JonBenet, instead revolving around how the case was treated by the media.
Mm-hmm.
It was insane.
But in the documentary, he does run through the various suspects, the various information, and he does touch on how, like, the Ramseys' exoneration was, like, largely disputed, that the DNA evidence isn't concrete.
No.
So he mentions information that wouldn't be favorable to the John Ramsey's innocent.
And he told the truth. It's like, seems to me he told the truth. And I don't understand the role Hal Haddon played in all of this. I really don't. Paula, I understand. Let it go. And John Ramsey, of course. I believe this. John Ramsey's inside is screaming to confess. I swear to you, I believe it. I believe that John Ramsey wants to confess what he did. Really. And otherwise, why do you keep doing this? And why do you keep going to these shows and keep getting yourself in the media and proclaiming the innocence of himself and his wife? You're in the free. You're in the clear. You're free. You know, it's done. Change your name. Move to Mexico. You know, you can start your life again. Why does he do this? And I really, truly believe he wants to confess. I mean, I don't want to put you in the middle of that, but
I think he would argue that the fact that he keeps putting himself out there is a testament to his innocence, that he wants the case to be solved.
that's he knows that if this case is solved, he's in trouble. Honest to God, anybody else, 303-696-1971, why do you believe John Ramsey? Do you want to take calls? Want to be a talk show host? Of course.
Sure.
Sure. Shoot the dice. Why do you think John Ramsey does this? I mean, he's doing it. This isn't not John's first rodeo. He has done this proclamation of innocence forever. And Hal Haddon, Paula Woodward, do we tell you a story? Do we have enough time? All right. Paula Woodward wrote a book, and then the story was broke, I think, on the grand jury voting to indict John and Patsy, and I think she killed her book. I think that her book never went any further. And the Ramseys wrote a book that the only publishing house they could find was some religious house that published their book. I mean, you could either self-publish, but no legit house wanted their book. And I don't know. So why is John Ramsey, put your Freudian hats on. He's not going around proclaiming his innocence. Let me see. Let me read this. American victimhood. It's a condition. John Ramsey, the victim. Nah. Well, yes. I mean, he could. Could he convince himself of that? Yeah. I just love the psychology of this. Paula Woodward, I have no idea, except she goes for the spotlight. Hal Haddon, I have no idea why you do this. I've tried to get conversation with Hal Haddon. It won't happen. So Hang on, let's go back on the other side. We'll come back with calls. 303-696-1971. Why is be Sigmund Freud, why is John Ramsey doing this? I'm amazed. Hang on. it was just amazing what our guest said to me and the work that she's done. So we'll come back to this. First of all, it is Labor Day weekend, Saturday, August the 30th. Good to have you here. I'm Peter Boyles, 710 KNUS, Denver's talk station. And the weather is going to go this way, 78 the high. I drove to work this morning because of the threat of rain. Didn't bring the motorcycle. 80 and tomorrow on Sunday. Monday, mostly sunny and 82, and Tuesday 81 degrees. This young woman in our studio, we got some calls, but we're going to try and take them. The headline in Westword was Denver Expo cancels booth on John Ramsey's documentary after booking her father to speak. She's terrific. Hannah Metzger, who's telling me a story that I didn't know anything at all about off air, but we have a couple of callers, and I'm going to make her into a talk show host. So let's take the first one. Devin in Castle Rock. Devin, you're with Hannah and Peter on the morning show, Saturday, 710 KNUS.
Yeah, Peter, I wanted to explain my opinion on why he's going over and over again into the public. I disagree that it's to confess or to try to confess. It's just the opposite. These narcissists, and he's probably a sociopath, and I've always said the difference between a narcissist and a sociopath is the sociopath is willing to break the law. And these people have to convince them, not only themselves that they're okay, they have to convince others to get that feedback. And he never went, unlike OJ, he never went to court. And OJ obviously kept doing bad things. A great example of this in Colorado was in the early to mid-'90s, a psychiatrist was accused, had his license disciplined for sex with patients.
I remember that. I remember that, yeah.
They did a PBS
yes.
before PBS lost their mind.
Yeah.
He went on PBS and was trying to convince the country he was innocent.
Yeah, sure.
And during that time, he started talking about things that they told him he couldn't talk about and his victim could not talk about. And he started talking about it.
Yeah.
And they, voiced it over. These people have to convince others to get the feedback that they're innocent.
I loved my working definition between a sociopath and a psychopath, that a sociopath builds castles in the sky. A psychopath lives in them. And and
there's no difference medically between the terms.
I understand.
Narcissistic personality disorder, antisocial personality disorder.
So come back to John Ramsey. I don't want to pull the reporter into this. So I believe that he is, trying to confess or wants to get caught for what he did. His daughter's dead. And unless he is, I wrote a column once called Twice a Year John Ramsey Sheds His Skin. The guy truly is who I believe he is, but you don't believe that he wants to get. Why does he keep doing this stuff? I'm
telling you, Peter, this is the person. Either his wife killed the kid or something, and they committed at the very least obstruction of justice. Come on.
Well, he's involved.
He's involved. He never confessed.
No.
And the daughter's dead. He's a sociopath, and he has to get his head together by getting positive feedback at a big level. He's innocent.
So people walk up and say, "Oh, John, I'm so sorry."
John, it's terrible. Yeah, that you had to go through this. You're innocent. That's what's in his head. It's not, I want to confess. Well, confess. He doesn't want to confess. He would have done it. This is how these sociopaths are.
So this
like
is
the
not
PBS psychiatrist.
This is not Edgar Allan Poe's The Telltale Heart.
No,
it's not.
I mean, the psychiatrist, I don't know if there was torts or official legal, but he was sanctioned by the board, and he went on national television trying to convince everyone he's innocent. That's exactly what's going on here.
You know, that night, and I can bring Hannah back into this because she's a reporter, but that night, it was New Year's Eve when she went on CNN and said, "Hold your babies close," and that really mumbled jumbled. And I know from talking to the Whites, to Fleet and Priscilla, that she was pilled up and she was drinking, and they were trying to talk her out of it. And so she.
Oh, Peter, look, you know the case. I'm just giving you psychology.
No.
You could apply this to anything.
Well,
You
yeah.
could apply it to anything.
No, but what I'm saying is that the actions of these people, and this back to Hannah's work and what she's going to drop on us in a couple minutes, I didn't know about, but I mean, they still wanted to leave and go to Georgia with the baby's dead under the Christmas tree. I mean, that's nuts.
Well, I mean, the way they treated their daughter was nuts with the dresses and the makeup at age 5. I mean, it's sick. What do you want me to say?
She was.
I mean,
there's a story about Patsy was a francophile. Everything was French. John Benet, the name itself is a combination of John Bennett, John Ramsey's name. And as the story goes, they had a dog named Jacques, which shouldn't be of surprise to anybody, but Jacques had, I'm being told this story by a really reliable source, that Jacques had an ear that was, there was a cocked ear, and that she took the dog back to the breeder and swapped it out for a dog that was perfect. And
because these people, narcissists and sociopaths, treat living entities as objects.
Okay. And so she brought the dog back.
That's a big one.
Yeah, she brought the dog back, and the kids came home from school, I'm told, and said, "That's not Jacques." And Patsy said, "Oh, yes, it is."
Yes, because what do you do when you buy an appliance, you get it home, and it doesn't work? You take it back to the store. That's how these people approach people. That's the sickness in their head.
What?
I mean, people are objects. It's like if the pen runs out of ink, you throw it away. If the kid, if the dog has an ear that's bent, you throw it away.
Well, because I called that the second Jacques on the grassy knoll. That but wow, this is really. What are you a professional? I mean, in terms of this, to come out. No.
How do you define professional, Peter?
I know you get paid to say it.
I'm in the winding down phase. I deal with human behavior. Let's leave it at that.
No, you're great. It's a great call.
Okay, Peter.
No. Well, someday I'll shake your hand. That's a great call. Thank you.
You did once.
Oh, I really did.
I gave you. You know my last name. You have a glass object from Pittsburgh with my name on it.
I know who you are.
Don't say.
I won't say. I won't.
Okay.
Thank you. We'll talk.
And call me. You got my number, Pete.
I
Call
do.
me anytime.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, now, off air, Hannah, you told me, how has this all come together, this crime expo, John Ramsey, and, well, I got the prices. I mean, this is great work by Adam, but this ain't cheap to get in.
No, not at all.
And they denied you. They would not let you in. Or
they rejected my request for a media pass after I published this story. I can't say it's related, but they did not respond to inquiries about why it was rejected.
Now, why? Tell me how this all comes together. It's a real typical Ramsey, Paula Woodward deal. Tell me how it comes together. The guy who puts this on.
Well, what we know is that this will be John Ramsey's, at least his third time participating in this specific crime con. He spoke in the 2022 convention and the 2024 convention. And what's notable is that 2022 year, because Paula Woodward revealed in a documentary that the founder of CrimeCon created the widely publicized 2022 petition that sought to get the DNA power away from the Boulder Police Department and give it to an independent agency in the John Bonet case.
Bingo. So, John, who's in bed with who here?
It seems that the founder of CrimeCon, Kevin Balfe, he has some kind of relationship, or at least he created the petition that John Ramsey has very publicly supported and pushed in efforts like the Netflix documentary.
And the other part of it that I think is classic is that you, as a young journalist, you applied for a press pass?
I did.
And they said?
No.
You're like me. Welcome to the club. You become the pariah. They don't want to talk to you. They won't ever talk to you.
Yeah, no one from CrimeCon ever responded to any of my inquiries about the documentary booth being canceled, but they did respond very quickly to deny my...
Let me tell you how they work. And I don't know if Hal Haddon was involved in this or not. They took not the Boulderado, but I'm thinking of the other very nice hotel in Boulder. And they built a set, is really what they did. And this is John and Patsy and whomever. I don't know if Hal was involved in them or Morgan was involved with them. And they said, the most wonderful journalist in Denver. And it was the people who were, Paula Woodward and her ilk. And we actually we had a parody, we had a bunch of parody songs, we can play one. And they wouldn't let anybody else in. And I tried to go, and they said, no, don't even come. And I'm told that they had guards on the door. And they built a set. And here came Paula and, the rest of them, the big five. And the only stipulation that the Ramseys had was you can't ask about the crime. And I made the comment at the time, what are you going to talk to Patsy about the euro? I mean, what do you, of course they did. But then the Ramseys got to make statements of their innocence. And Woodward got caught on a hot mic coming up to Patsy when it was over and saying, well, how's Burke? That was the most hardcore question of the entire scenario. So this controlling the media, again, that you just witnessed, it's playbook from the Ramseys. If you want to be their friend, they'll talk. But they used to appear a lot before Patsy passed away on religious television. They were big guests on religious TV, and they proclaimed their beliefs and their faith. And so now this is MO. So let me recap this. You were turned away, and if you see the prices on this thing, what's left? I mean, you tell me. Tell the audience, what does CrimeCon, a Denver day pass, Adam knows too. Well, Adam, you want to jump in this? How much?
Yeah, the day passes, which are still available last time that I looked, are about $110. That's just the day pass. The standard pass is $399, as in almost $400.
And it says the gold VIP is sold out, and the platinum VIP is sold out. And you get to talk to John. The VIP event check-in, ballroom seating, private lounge with complimentary beverages. The platinum VIP includes everything in gold plus you get elevated private lounge with complimentary beverages. This is a joke. The host hotel was the Gaylord, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's on the 6th of September?
Yeah. Or it's a 3-day convention, I believe it's from the...
A 3-dayer.
Yeah, I believe it's the 4th, 5th, and 6th.
And John and Paula Woodward. Is Paula scheduled to talk?
Yeah, it's going to be her, John, and the lawyer. It's kind of like a panel discussion.
Yeah, I'll bet. If you were in the audience, what would you ask? I know I know what I'd say, but
I guess I would ask them to respond to the Boulder Police Department's response, because one of their biggest thing is that they're pushing, we want more DNA testing, that they haven't actually tested this, we're not using genetic genealogy. But the Boulder Police Department said that that's not true, that they've gone through all of the avenues they can, that they've been talking to private companies, and that further testing of the very, very small DNA sample that we have could kind of destroy the sample, use it all up. So I would ask them to respond to that, and do they have any concerns about that in terms of if we use the current technology to destroy what we have left of the DNA sample, are we going to eliminate the possibility that it's ever useful for the case? And
I always said that Lady Justice wears a blindfold, and she has scales. And if you put everything on the one scale that the Ramseys did it, and everything that's proclaimed by the Lou Schmidt people, watch that scale drop like a rock that has the Ramseys did it. And they look for out cards. I can tell you this, the Boulder cops sent 2 detectives as far as to China, where her underwear were made. I mean, they went to the factory in the PRC. I know that. I know they did. And there was a really great detective by the name of Steve Thomas. And Steve's career was ruined by them. I mean, they would do what they could do, threaten people. They had a lawyer named Lynn Wood. Lynn Wood went on to become one of Trump's election deniers. And he's crazy. I mean, Lynn Wood's absolutely nuts. But he used to call and threaten me, leave voicemails for me. And I wish I'd have kept them. I was Caplis and I. And there's Lynn. We would do a television show, and the next morning there'd be a voicemail at KHOW for me, from Lynn Wood. And he's gone totally into the weeds. But he was in Atlanta, Georgia. And he arranged, I don't know if you remember, Burke Ramsey goes on Dr. Phil. I don't know if that was another, Lynn Wood put that together, because Lynn Wood, I believe, and my source on this is excellent, was representing Dr. Phil, and he was suing a tabloid. Apparently they did a story about his marriage or his divorce or whatever. And Lynn was representing Dr. Phil. And they brokered a deal that, Lynn Wood brokered the deal, I'm told, that to bring Burke Ramsey on with Dr. Phil. So that everything that they do, if you watch them, every single thing that the Ramseys and their team do is just what you uncovered. They are just underhanded enough to pull this stuff off. So, sit still, we'll come back and we'll wrap it up. Lines are open, 303, our phone number, 303-696-1971. What is John Ramsey doing? Traveling around the country, proclaiming his innocence. Why is Paula Woodward in on the team? And I don't get Hal Haddon, why he's there. And coming up, the wrestler who saved the life of that man in the ring when Rampage Jackson's son was trying to kill him. 710 KNUS, we're Denver's talk station.
Your KNUS forecast for the Denver metro area keeps us long on clouds for the first day of this Labor Day weekend. Temperatures pleasant, cooler than average as well, and we will see additional showers and some weak thunderstorms. Highs today, mid to upper 70s. Clearing tonight, low to mid 50s. Dry conditions Sunday and Monday, Labor Day, sunny and gorgeous. Highs, low 80s. Weather is a service of L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. That's bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. I'm meteorologist Mark Huer in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
terrific guest and an explanation of how this crime con works, and particularly with John Ramsey and the underhanded media. 710 KNUS 78 the high, and 80 Sunday, and Labor Day Monday 82 degrees. David Ellis, Cherry Creek. You've heard me talking about taking valuables to David. He's there as we speak. David Ellis Jewelers, get a fortune in cash. Secure an appraisal from David for all the valuables you have tucked away in your home. It's still true. Sharing the other reasons to see David, just in case you don't have a Rolex or rare coins or silver tea set. Go see David Ellis for all of the most meaningful gift-giving occasions. David Ellis Jewelers, just the right item, just the right price for those special people that mean the most. They are the best. He is the best. An antique watch, an emerald pendant, a gold necklace, a diamond ring. Trusted Jeweler has been buying precious metals and antiques in Colorado for decades, has dazzling display cases filled with hundreds of new and used pieces your loved ones will treasure. Visit David Ellis Jewelers and see for yourself. David's there today. He's there 6 days a week on the corner of 3rd and Clayton, Black Awning, 3rd and Clayton and Cherry Creek. DavidEllisJewelry.com, or call my friend David at 303-322-8779, 303-322-8779, and tell David Ellis Peter Boyles sent you. Our guest is in studio and broke this story on the Denver, and it's the Crime Expo, and it travels, correct? The expo itself will be in another city after this?
Correct. It's been, I believe, in a different city every year since it started in 2017. It's our first time having it in Colorado.
And the guy who puts it on, you think he's connected somehow to John Ramsey?
Well, Paula Woodward, the journalist
Sure.
who's written in
Yes.
defense of the Ramsey family,
Yes.
she said that the founder of CrimeCon, Kevin Balfe, is responsible for the 2022 petition to take away DNA testing authority from the Boulder Police Department and asking the governor to give it to an independent agency, which is an effort
Sure.
that John Ramsey has really publicly supported.
Well, they would not. We took an ad out and tell them to go on the box, go on the lie detector test, and they shopped polygraphs, and I don't know, someplace they found one where they passed, and it's called shopping. They would not go to the FBI. They wouldn't go to the Denver PD or Aurora PD or whomever, and as the cops say, you go on the box, and would not do it. And they shopped polygraphs, and they found somebody, I think, for the amount of money, the right amount of money. They said, oh, yeah, they passed. And they came out and proclaimed, we passed, end of story, see you later, time to go home. So, no, it is more the same, more of how they operate. We go to Nick. Nick, you're on the radio show. Good morning. Special guest in studio. Hannah, her last name is spelled Metzger. You're on the air. Good morning, sir.
Well, thank you for taking my call. I'm obviously talking from the point of view of an amateur, but people that are normal, whatever that means, we have no idea the capacity that psychopaths have to lie to themselves. I'm sure if Adolf Hitler were alive today, he could justify everything he did, and it's always somebody else's fault.
Well, there's a bunch of people texting this morning that John sees himself as a victim of all
Yes.
of this.
Yes.
You're not,
Yes,
Hannah, you're
he's a
nodding your head, yeah.
Well, I believe
Yes,
in the
he's
way
a
that
victim.
he's spoken
Nick,
about.
hold on. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Oh, sorry. I think that's kind of evident in the way that he's spoken about, the way that the media treated him, and his dismay at the police ever thinking of him as a suspect. He does feel
Yeah.
victimized.
I know he does. I mean,
Right.
I watched it. And his
pe-
yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry.
And people like that are very, very dangerous. And if they get out of control, like somebody like Adolf Hitler, look at the damage they do.
So you don't think, I mean, I have this real back burner that there's a part of him that's crying out he wants to confess, and you don't buy that. Nobody buys that but me.
Well, I think maybe 10%, but that's it. That's maximum.
Could
So
you-
the other 90% is just pure public relations.
Could you carry that burden around in you?
I'm not a psychopath, although my ex-wife thinks I am. But
No, but seriously. I mean,
no, I couldn't. You maybe couldn't, but these are psychopaths. They think on a different level.
I've often thought about this, especially since he's begun to appear. Paula, I don't know. You know, I wrote her
Oh,
off.
she's just looking for a little
No,
PR.
well, that may be,
I
but
don't know.
I wrote her off. This is a story. They executed Gary Davis, who's the last man executed in Colorado, and we all covered the story. And she was there for Channel 9. She was going a sob sister story on the woman who was the accomplice of Gary Davis, who, in my opinion, should have died with Gary Davis that night. But so there actually was a party after the execution, and the family members and some of the guys who did all the hard work to get rid of Gary Davis, and I got invited, and it was there's a one hotel motel in Canyon City that is close to where the execution happened, and everything is dedicated to John Wayne because they did the Cowboys there, and there's this room and that room and this room, and these guys had a party. Maybe that's a bad choice, but so I go and I don't drink, and I stayed for about an hour. Well, Paula was there, and she said, "Can I ask you something?" And I said, "Well, of course." And we walked outside, and she said, "Do you really think that Patsy did it?" And I'm looking at her like, "Pardon me? Do you really think Patsy did it?" I said, "Of course she did it." Oh, end of story. So we got Patricia. Listen, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, your Hannah, your boss is on with us. Ladies and gentlemen, she is my true favorite from Westword, Patricia Calhoun. Patty, thanks for doing this.
Oh, my pleasure. Good morning. I'm in the wilds of Wyoming.
Where in Wyoming?
Sheridan.
Sheraton. I love Sheridan. Well, I was just in Torrington on my motorcycle.
Well, that's a great place. That's a great place too.
Yeah.
I'm in my mother's Subaru. Not as exotic.
See, you know how to live.
Exactly.
Hannah's with us, and
Hannah is great.
she's wonderful.
Thanks, Patty.
She's a home run, and she really exposed something in this piece, and once again about the Ramseys trying to play the media, or playing the media. Why do you think, and again, this is off the top of your head, why do you think John Ramsey keeps coming around and telling everybody he's innocent?
You know, I can't really speak to that. I mean, it is possible that he's innocent but knows who did it. I mean, that's certainly the assumption many people have had. He wants some kind of closure. Maybe he just isn't looking at what's in front of him and hopes someone will come forward. What's more interesting, I think, in this case, and Hannah loves true crime, so I thought this was a perfect story for her, is that Andrew Novick, who is a really interesting fellow, been around town forever, has plenty of credibility, that he couldn't get his booth there.
Yeah.
And not only did he get booted from his booth, but they wouldn't give Hannah press credentials.
She talked about that. And then she also talked about this nexus between John Ramsey and the guy that puts the expo on.
Right, exactly. And you've got to figure the Ramseys are still a draw. The John Bonet story with that Netflix thing that was quite horrible that was on earlier this year.
That was horrible.
It draws people out.
Take you back in time. Do you remember it was on the cover of the Denver Post, and you wrote about it, and they just showed the little girl's arm. Remember all of that?
Right.
Talk about that.
Well, I remember, in fact, I think I wrote about it. Just
You
when
did.
you looked at that picture from the morgue it was a little girl's arm, and it was the thing that really brought John Bonet Ramsey to life for so many people in her death, because we'd seen the pictures of the pageant, and we'd seen the pictures of what her mom did with her to make her look like the little pageant queen, but she was just a little girl, a 6-year-old little girl, and was horribly killed by we may never officially know who.
Well, officially what? I mean,
Right.
when
We
the
may
grand-
never know officially.
When the grand jury voted to indict the Patsy and John Ramseys in 1999, and Alex Hunter refused to do anything about it, I think that killed Paula's book. But you know, they
And it killed a lot of people's faith in the system, in equal justice.
But you remember, you did the runaway jury. You did. I mean, without you, I don't think there would have been the Rocky Flats grand jury. You can take a second to tell the audience about what you did there.
Well, the Rocky Flats grand jury, same thing as with the Ramseys, except this was a statewide grand jury where people were pulled together to investigate allegations of environmental crime at Rocky Flats, which used to produce nuclear weapons. And these people worked for over a year, 2.5 years, I think, and they wanted to indict 8 individuals, some from Rockwell International, which ran the plant, and some from the Department of Energy. And they did a report, they did everything, and instead the Department of Justice sealed the files, never indicted anyone, and made a deal with Rockwell, which was for less than the bonus Rockwell had been paid for running Rocky Flats. And these grand jurors still want to tell their story. The grand jurors in Boulder did a better job of leaking. I mean, they got a pretty good, a lot of attention on that, but the grand jurors who were so honorable in this Rocky Flats case still want to talk.
Yeah, I mean, the grand jury voted to indict John and Patsy in 1999. Alex Hunter, for whatever reasons, and there were a lot of reasons other than he couldn't prove it. There's a lot of talk about politics, and there was a lot of spin on that. But remember, you were just wonderful on the Rocky Flats grand jury when those, they were brave. I mean, they came out and they named themselves. And pick it up, if you would, again, Ms. Calhoun, please.
Well, the primary mover and shaker in it was Wes McKinley, who wound up being the Rocky Flats grand jury foreman, who is a rancher and a math teacher from southeastern Colorado, just felt he had to do the right thing. He went public. And, of course, you can be jailed. You can be for contempt of court if a grand juror speaks. And we were warned that we would be jailed for even quoting grand jurors who we kept anonymous. But Wes McKinley actually wound up running for Congress so that he could ask for a congressional investigation, and he figured in that context he could speak. And he went public. And a few other grand jurors also went public.
Yeah, but, I remember you bringing him into the studio at KHOW, and he was a cowboy. I mean, he...
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and...
but
go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, John Lipsky, who ran the investigation for the FBI, he is still talking. He is still trying to get the truth out there.
Sure.
So there are a lot of brave people who want people now moving into expensive houses around Rocky Flats,
you bet,
former nuclear weapons plant, to know what's there.
So John Ramsey travels and speaks about the victimhood of John Ramsey. Do you give, I don't understand this. I can't even imagine being in this position, but I thought about it a lot last night. I changed my name and moved to Torrington, Wyoming. I mean, I wouldn't be running around the country doing this. I don't know.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I still think that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, it's hard to know what any of us would do because we've certainly never been in this situation.
God.
But the fact is, things could have been done better by the Justice Department, by the media, by everyone, even down to this event coming to town. And they booed a guy because he wants to show a different opinion.
Yeah.
And it's not like he is a renegade. I mean, Andrew Novick is just a very interesting, creative person. And then Hannah gets denied credentials, and they won't tell me why.
I love that. Again, this young woman who did this article for Westword, which is a respected paper here in town, you apply for a media pass, right?
Right.
And after you had written this article, then they said,
They said no. They denied it. They didn't provide an explanation. Patty reached out, but I don't think they responded.
I wonder who they'll give. I wonder who gets a media pass, Patricia.
Well, we'll find out. I sent a copy to Alan Prendergast, too, who you may remember.
Oh.
He went and worked for CBS.
Yes.
Working on some of this stuff. And we did so many stories on the Ramsey case. And I went and testified in court, I think, about the Globe guy. Remember the Globe guy who was in trouble for trying to buy the confession?
Is your time good? We have about... I need to take a pause. Can I keep you, please?
My time is bad. I've got to go. So you just keep with Hannah, and it's great talking to you.
Patricia, thank you. We'll see when you... Anyhow, finish up real quick on the Globe story because I got pulled into that. But...
Oh, well, the Globe, I mean, it's just... People tell the media they leak things for different reasons. Look at all the leaks on the Ramsey. Look at all the people dragged in. Poor Fleet White and Santa and everyone else. And here they were going to charge the Globe reporter because he wanted to buy a copy of the ransom note.
I was there. We'll talk about it. Thank you, my pen. Thanks. Patricia Calhoun, Hannah's boss. Everybody stays here. 710 KNUS. I'm Peter Boyles. We're Denver's talk station. It's a Saturday, everybody, August the 30th, Labor Day weekend. I'm Peter Boyles. This is 710 KNUS Denver's talk station. We have a remarkable, and she's got a cover story coming, and with Westword, and Patricia Calhoun was with us. Try and get Steve Reams up here real quick, but the Denver Expo, the crime, what's it called? Crime Con. Everything's con now. And they canceled, and they called it out of respect for the Ramseys. Mm-hmm. And everything that we've talked about, I don't know how you could have respect, but then we find out that the owner, would that be a good way to say it? The owner? Founder is connected to the Ramseys. Now, I just got a great text from this man. He's become a great friend. We ride motorcycles together. We're in Sturgis together. His name is Sheriff Reams. He is in Weld County. Steve, you have a take on this. Hannah's with us. What's your take on the Ramseys?
Well, it's much like your caller, and thanks for having me on, Pete, much like your caller earlier, who I think had a background in psychology or psychiatry, but he's spot on. I mean, John Ramsey, he's got a guilty conscience, but that's what little bit of a conscience he has. And so he's trying to convince everybody of what he knows isn't true. So he knows he had some part in the death of his daughter, but if he keeps repeating the lie, eventually someone he thinks will believe it. And if anyone does believe it, you know, he gets that public affirmation that, oh, yeah, you're an innocent person. And that's what he's seeking. You know, in the course of an interview or an interrogation with this guy, which obviously never really occurred, if they could have got him in a booth and said, okay, let's deconstruct this statement, him telling this story over and over and over again, what he's doing is kind of...
Your phone's cracking. Come back to wherever you were.
Now.
Oh.
How about now?
Yeah, perfect. Go ahead.
Okay, so when you're searching for the details, but you're making them up on the fly, it's really difficult for your story to be believable. And that's the whole reason, like some of your other callers have said, they needed to get him into an interrogation booth and immediately put his feet to the fire. Because when you're peppering him with those questions and asking him to repeat that statement, that's where you start developing those cracks in the statement. When he gets the chance to do what he's done over the last 30 years, you know, he refines this very abridged, story about what happened. Well, it's easy to create these details that seem believable, tell them over and over again, and get public empathy and public support. And so that's what he's doing. I mean, he's a trained liar at this point. And, you know, he's had some help from certain members of the media over all these years. But getting him in an interview booth, even today, you get him in there without an attorney, and he'll come apart.
See, back, Hannah, anything you want to add to that?
No, I wouldn't say so.
I mean, I know that you're a reporter and you have to walk a certain line, but as a talk show host, I really don't have to do that. And a long critic a truth teller of what these two people did to that little girl. But I like what Patricia said and done. That was a little 6-year-old girl.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, and there seemed to be almost, and this is what Kaplis had talked about more than once, an endless supply of her performing the videos. Endless supply. And where does that come from? And who was feeding? And I never knew who was feeding the press with JonBenet performance videos.
I think they found that one of the photographers of the pageants had sold them.
Oh, is that what had happened?
I believe so.
I'd never heard that before. Well, that makes sense. But probably made big money doing it.
Probably.
Whew. Man, you know, I told you what the quick happened to me. I don't know enough time is. I was shown the ransom note, the copy of the ransom note, and set it on the air. And the guys came from the Globe, and they tried to buy it. And I said, well, first of all, number one, I won't sell it to you. Number two, I don't have it. So they later found out, and I don't know if you remember this one, Steve, where there was the FBI had what's the handwriting people, cryptologist or what? Mm-hmm. And anyhow, up in Evergreen, and they went and tried to buy the ransom note. I mean, that's wow. I mean, they were really they were ballsy, and they got caught, and one of their defense attorneys said, well, that the note was being shown around. Why was it so wrong for them to go and try and buy it? And they used me, and I was skiing, and they came to the door, and they hit my son with a subpoena to show up. And I went 3 times to Golden, and I invoked a press shield, and they wanted to throw me in jail because I wouldn't do it. I said, and sitting in the back of the courtroom was the person who showed me the note. And it's true story. And I came for the 3rd time, and the judge granted me the press shield. But the only guy who went to jail was Fleet White.
Well, in 2007, I attended the FBI National Academy and took a statement analysis class. And we actually deconstructed the note that Patsy Ramsey had written, the ransom note, even though she denied having done so.
Sure.
But we're all first-time learners of statement analysis. But our instructor, a lady by the name of Lisa Skinner, very practiced at what she did. We went through this note, and while the author was never truly identified, there were some factors in that note that it was pretty. I mean, it's pretty telling from even a novice standpoint that if Patsy Ramsey didn't write that note, she sure influenced whoever wrote it.
Yeah, it was on the tablet, and there was also they had a test drive. They had tried to write one, and then that was the second note. And I mean,
exactly.
And they just threw that away. I mean, it was like, if there's any, and I was mentioning, do you remember the Aaron A. Thompson case?
Very well.
Well, the Aurora PD put on a clinic.
Absolutely. They did a
great job. And compare and contrast. And remember, Aaron A. was, again, one of those combo names, like Jean Benet's name is John Bennett, John Bennett Ramsey. And Aaron A. was Aaron Thompson was his name. And
right.
So said and done. First of all, Hannah, thank you. What would you like to say? This part that they're all connected at the hip, it's standard operating procedure for the Ramseys. So great job. Great work. Thank you so much. No. And can you give a hint at what you got coming?
Absolutely. I have a cover story coming out next week about a different cold case murder in Colorado. That's the murder of a 20-year-old woman named Alicia in Commerce City. I spoke to the detectives who believe that they know for certain who murdered her and that they arrested him at the time, but that the DA's office has refused to press charges. And now, 6 years later, her family's been left without justice, and everyone's very frustrated about the situation. So look for that. I'm really excited about that coming out. I've been working on it for a long time.
You're terrific. Sheriff Reams, anything you'd like to leave us with in terms of this grand jury voted to indict, and John Ramsey now gets this, and it's just a film, they canceled it out of respect. I don't know how you can have respect for the man, but any thoughts?
Well, this highlights some of the failures of the criminal justice system. And while I would like to say this is a limited case, it's not. It's just a case that gets notoriety because of, the press that was around this particular case. But there are a lot of failings in our criminal justice system that maybe someday we'll be talking on the radio about those as well.
Thank you, sir. We'll talk. Thank you very much. Sheriff Steve Reams, Weld County. Hannah, thank you. I mean, you're terrific, and we'll have you when you hit this news story. We'll bring you back and do it again. And to Patricia, thank you. So, coming up, and this has gotten a lot of attention. Doug Malo, who's a wrestler who stopped Roger Jackson's attack on Syko Stu. Did you see that video? Unbelievable. And he's the son, of course, of Rampage Jackson, and he saved this guy from killing him. And now the Syko Stu guy is alert and talking, and the wrestler who stopped Raja Jackson will be with us. He wrestles under the moniker of let me see to make sure I do it right, and the Epic, and his name is Doug Malo, and he's up next. Stay here. I'm Peter Boyles. This is Radio Free Denver, good old 710 KNUS. And good morning one more time, everybody. It's Labor Day weekend, a Saturday, August 30th, 2025. I'm Peter Boyles. The weather, get ready for this, 78 today. A couple of showers perhaps, then 80 on Sunday, 82 on Labor Day, and 81 back to work Tuesday. Our phone number is 303-696-1971. I'm going to set this up because a lot of people, I would suspect many people, have seen the video. And the video is brutal. And there was an MMA fighter, Quentin Rampage Jackson, who was terrific. And I saw Rampage fight here in Denver. And he has a son named Raja. And the story goes from there. Please say good morning. What an amazing event. And this guy just had the heart of a lion. Douglas Malo, we have an echo, who he's the wrestler who stopped Raja Jackson. Hey, Doug, thanks for doing the radio show. First of all, I'm a huge pro wrestling fan, but second, I watched that video a couple of times, and after you yanked him off, he would have killed. He was trying to kill you, and I think he was trying to kill the other guy as well. Thanks for doing the show.
Yeah, no problem, and that's exactly right. I have no doubt what his intent was.
Did you talk to him at all? Did you talk to Roger before any of this started to happen?
No, the only thing I really got from Roger was, I guess, after the beer can incident. If you look at when Stu hit him with the beer can, I was actually in the back of the video calling a match with my friend Alex Ace, my tag partner, and my friend Zeke with Samoan Reaper, and then Journey fought too. So we had a tag team match against each other, so we were calling our match. And, we're a lot of big men, so we made sure we planned it accordingly, made sure it was safe. So we were dialed in on what we had to do. So when that whole thing happened, I had no clue. The only thing I got from him is when he walked by me. I remember how he walked by, and I told my buddy Zeke, I said, I don't like the way he's moving. He's very aggressive. I was like, he needs to be calmed down. And I didn't know that he was upset from what had happened behind me.
I've seen the video, and he does a trick that was done in pro wrestling quite a bit back when I was working. He crushes the beer can on his forehead.
Yeah.
Was that a lesson to show him how it's done, or was it an animosity move, or what was it?
He was not an animosity guy. He thought the guy was a worker, and he saw the camera. And nobody's really supposed to be backstage. It's one of our rules. So the fact that he was there with the camera, with somebody that brought him, that is a worker.
And a worker for the folks in the audience, a worker means a wrestler.
So that was unfortunate, and Stu apologized multiple times. You could even hear him in the video after he does the beer can thing. He goes, "What, you're not going to sell it?"
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you say sell, I know what it means, but tell the audience what selling means.
You're not going to register that you were just hit with a beer can. You're not going to play up the dramatics. You're not going to act injured. You're not going to play along with what's going on.
And so he thought Raja was working. He was a wrestler. And Raja, of course. Yeah. Did you know Raja at all?
No.
So he was. Who brought him?
Not
there?
At all.
Who brought him there? The best of your knowledge.
The guy with the cowboy hat. I don't want to name him anymore.
No, I saw him. I've seen him. Yeah.
The stupid cowboy.
Yeah.
He is by far the dumbest human. And has continued to just be a pile of stupid. He's never once apologized for bringing him. Never once done anything, and said nothing but lies to try to cover his ass.
I've seen him. He does like a Jack Lanza thing. He comes with a vest on and a cowboy hat, and he's playing a role other people have played before. But so he brought Raja backstage, and
he's Raja's coach because they're both fighters. AJ's an amateur fighter and Raja's a pro fighter. AJ's not even a good amateur.
I've seen Rampage now talking and extremely apologetic for his son. His son has not been charged. Raja has not been charged by the cops.
Not yet.
You believe he will be?
Oh, yeah.
He tried to kill
There's
him.
no way he's not going to.
Yeah, he was trying to kill him.
Yeah. I talked to a detective already. I submitted my evidence. I even told him about a camera angle he wasn't aware about, which showed me hitting Raja with multiple punches. It's just about doing the right thing, you know? And a lot of people like to save their ass, and they don't want any accountability. And if it means me getting in a little bit of trouble to do the right thing, you know, that's the whole point of doing the right thing. It's hard to do the right thing. The right thing always doesn't feel good.
Well said. Douglas Malo,
it feels good after.
our guest Douglas Malo, he's the wrestler who stopped Raja Jackson's attack on Syko Stu, and has said, you know, he would have killed him. And if you see that video, we were going to put it up, and I thought, no, it's up everywhere, and now so many people have seen it. But that assault, how many punches did he get in on
22,
Stu?
22, 23. I saw an extra video too, and like it felt at the time that I ran in, but you could tell even I was in shock. You could see my eyes in the video, like wide open.
Oh yeah.
Before I ran in, like I was in, you know, the whole recollection of the thing was fuzzy up until I got in the ring. It's so bad. It's just so bad.
How much?
I'm actually. Huh?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll bring it up. Continue, please.
I'm saying so I have my tag team is Epic and Ace and Epic. We have this whole gimmick of whose name comes first. We have a 12-year-old little girl that we're like her heralds. She's the ringleader.
Okay.
She controls us, right?
Yeah.
She saw the whole thing and was so traumatized. And she was around the corner in the car because her mom got her out of there. And I had snuck outside to go confront Raja outside after everyone didn't let me out the front. And when I walked down the back alley, she was out there with the car. She sees my eyes covered in blood. And I'm irate. I'm out headhunting at this point. And she's just traumatized. The mom drives off. The little girl tries to get out of the car and run back to see if Stu's okay. And actually ran into my little brother, and I had to talk to her. And it was crazy. Traumatizing even for the adults. Oh. You know, a lot of people are talking to me and just not feeling right about it. The kids in the front, you could hear them. You know, the side video before I went in, it's the kids that break my heart the most over this because we're adults and we're supposed to protect them from this bullshit.
Jim?
Sorry for cursing. Sorry, but, you know, you could hear one of the kids saying, "Save him, Epic," as I'm running in. And I'm like, oh, my God. Like, you know, nobody, who brings somebody like that to an event? And what's worse than that is the guy who brought him has messages. I have the messages, too, saying that, you know, Raja's a lunatic. You know, he's crazy. He ruined my life. Like, you knew that you were bringing somebody unstable. That incident happened. This should have never have taken place. We should have never allowed him in the ring. And that starts with everybody involved in it. Everybody in that decision. Everybody that saw the beer can incident. Everybody.
When I watched it, and I've been around pro wrestling, it's been a while since I've worked it, but the ref doesn't jump in. I'm looking for the Big John McCarthy, you know, the guy that'll dive in between, and the ref just standing there, and then another guy covers him. I thought, what? I mean, that must have really gotten off the hook in that ring.
I can't fathom that.
No.
Like, I wasn't a part of the match. I was not a part of the match. I wasn't scripted to be out there. Nothing. So if I'm in the ring actively fighting somebody,
yep,
and I'm not a part of your match, at what point do you get off your fat ass? Do you stop being a loser? Do you get up and you do something? Like, I'm sorry for being so
no,
mean.
It's okay.
But, you know, like, Stu would save any of us. Whether he had the capability to or not, he would attempt to do his best. And, like, those people couldn't. They were so scared, so shocked, and I get it. Like, blame them, but I am angry at them. You know, like, you know, hopefully next time the people need them to step up, they step up. I will say, though, it's I Am Doom, Elias, the kid with the face paint who came first.
Yep.
He's a baby. He's only 17. He's a good kid.
Yeah,
heart of gold.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I want everyone to know that he's in a bad way over this whole incident. He's gotten so much bullying.
Yeah, he looked like he was in shock when he was watching it.
He's 17. You know, he's 17. I think barely 18. How the hell is he supposed to do anything?
But the ref,
you know, like, he's not a violent kid. He's never been in a fight before in his life. Yeah. You know, he's had medical issues in the past. Like, he spent most of his time working on himself and wrestling and being an entertainer. Like, but he had the balls to step up and at least try.
He did try, and he got pushed back.
What an absolute stud! I believe he's, in his heart of hearts, he's an absolute stud, because just that attempt alone delayed him enough for me to get in there and stop something.
If you hadn't, this is Doug Malo. He's the wrestler who stopped Raja Jackson's attack on Stu, and you have to. I don't know. I don't want to tell people to go look at it, but if you want to see something, go look at it. I was blown away by it the first time.
Donate to Stu's GoFundMe.
Yeah, and then we're going to push GoFundMe. We're going to. There's a support, the journey for his support to recovery. We'll plug it at the end, but out of nowhere comes our guest, and Raja Jackson has this guy down, and he's beating him, and the ref is standing there, and the part that was so dismaying was when the guy covers him and they do for the 3 count, and I'm thinking that game.
Believe that.
Oh, that was way over by then.
It's so disgusting. It's so disgusting. And even the ref, the reason, like, my eyes are in shock, like, I'm waiting for a sign or something. I'm not a part of the match. I don't know the spot. I don't know what's planned or called. So when I saw the slam and the first couple of punches, I'm moving to the ring. I'm like looking like, is it a work? Because the punches are on the side of his head, it looks like. It looks like they're not really connected from my angle, right? So I'm looking at the ref. I'm like, hey, is this planned? Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I'm freaking out.
I got to hit the delay.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Sorry.
No, I understand.
I'm a veteran. I'm a sailor.
No, we hit the. You're covered. We hit the delay. Adam Walker is my producer, or I'm his talk show host, and he is a huge fan too. I'm going to bring him in. He wants to ask you something. If you would, Adam, it's yours.
Hey, Douglas, this is Adam. Once again, thanks for being on the show. And something that I wanted to address real quick is any criticism of people saying, why did it take so long for the wrestlers to jump in? Like you just mentioned on that video, you're in shock, and you wait about a second and a half before it registers and you run in there. Once you knew what was going on, you ran in there and you saved that man's life. So anybody talking about why did it take so long, they're insane. You did exactly what you should have done right away. You did not hesitate, and you should be commended for that. Doug, you are a hero, and you should know that.
Thank you, sir. I mean, yeah, no, I feel terrible even about the 1 second hesitation. I did not concrete for me. The comments I get about having fake blood, I had to get stitches. You know, people saying, "Oh, it's all a work. You need to stop doing interviews and podcasts and this and that. You're just out here for clout and attention. You don't care about your friends." But it's actually the opposite. The more interviews I do, the more attention I put onto this, the more money I've gotten to GoFundMe. The first video I did was my buddy Eric Konechny, went super viral. His GoFundMe went from like 15,000 to 60,000, and actually over 100. So the more stuff I've done, the bigger the GoFundMe's gone up. And he's not out of the woods with recovery. You know, he's home, but he's way not out of the woods. Not to mention just hearing what's the negativity that's out there towards him. You know, he can't be near his phone because, you know, with any type of head injury, you can't have any negativity, any type of serious injury. You need to be positive. You got to work on recovery and focus on recovery. He has so much online visceral viral hate and people making fun of him and bullying, and like it's going to be a bit. So like, yeah, I'm going to do these interviews, and I'm going to sit here, and I'm going to go to bat for him, and I'm going to make sure that everything that I do is towards his GoFundMe. I haven't made a cent doing any of this garbage. All I care about is getting him as much money as possible so that whatever he needs can be taken care of. If he needs the best therapist, he needs this, he needs that, he needs to get his mind right. Like, I don't care. I'm here for it, Like, that's my job. I'm a veteran, too. So that's, it's a fraternity, and it's lifelong. So, he's battling right now, and I'm okay, putting in the footsteps.
Yeah, and again, thank you so much for what you've done. You mentioned it in a couple of videos online. If you hadn't stepped in, Raja would have killed him. And people need to realize that what you did saved his life, and you are, like I said, a hero and should deserve to be commended. Everybody should go online, check him out on Instagram at @JustTheEpic. It's _the_epic. There's links to his merch. Actually, fantastic merch. I'm going to order 2 of the shirts. I got one of his trucker hats. You've got to support Doug. He's amazing. Ever since I've learned about you, Doug, I've done a lot of research, gone down the rabbit hole, and I got to say, there's a couple matches that I want to see from you, some dream matches. I want to see you face Super Beast. I want to see you face Lance Archer, and I want to see you go to NXT and challenge Obafemi for the NXT title. So let's make that happen, everybody.
As Peter Boyles and Adam Walker, and our special guest is the wrestler who stopped Raja Jackson. And where's Jackson now?
I don't know. I know he put out a video.
I saw it.
I know he's. Yeah. We can't. I'll put it this way. He didn't know that his son was in that situation. You can't tell me that if he knew that happened to Raja, one, he wanted to swing right away, like any father. You can't tell me that if he didn't swing, that he would have walked Raja out of that situation knowing his son's volatility. I have friends that arrested Raja when he stole his dad's car, and he was a little mentally impaired. The kid's volatile. He's a man. The man is volatile. But it's when you have something like that, when somebody's that volatile, and a situation like that happens, you have to step back as a friend if you're his mentor. Like I struggled with mental health early in my life, like in my 20s, and once again at 30. My friends would never put me in situations when they could tell if I was having an off day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they'd be like, hey, let's go to the beach. Let's go hike. Let's, out of sight, out of mind from the public. Like, that's what you do when you care about people. And I have great mentors that are older guys that have stepped up after my 30s and really helped me navigate what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, what I'm doing. But that's what Raja needs, is people around him to help him navigate what he's feeling, what he's thinking, what he's doing, and channel his energy the right way, in a proper way, because what he's doing is going to get him killed, or he's going to kill somebody and spend his life in prison.
Now, there are people, but let me do this, because can you take a break with us and come back and wrap it?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Everybody's up on hold. I'm Peter Boyles. It's Douglas Malo, who really is, as Adam just said, he's a hero. He stopped Raja Jackson's attack, and he said he would have killed him, and I got a bunch of other questions. We hit the other side. So stay here. 78 will be the high. Then we'll go into open lines until 1 o'clock. 80. music with a float. Hard to Saturday morning, August the 30th, Labor Day weekend. I'm Peter Boyles, 2025. Good old 710 KNUS. We're Denver's talk station. We're speaking with Douglas Malo, the wrestler who stopped Roger Jackson's attack on Syko Stu. Let me do this first, and I'm happy to talk about my friends at Water Pros. Water Pros cares about those qualities of your water, and you remove what's called forever chemicals and microplastics and hard water with Water Pros. And they have a Peter Boyles special where you get whole water softeners and point-of-use reverse osmosis drinking water systems fully installed. Have it at the house. Start the process. Go to waterpros.net and sign up for your free in-home consultation. They'll come to your home and test your water and answer all your questions and concerns about your water. I trust these guys with my water. You will as well. Water Pros, family-owned, veteran-owned business dedicated to providing you with the best in water treatment for less than the other guys. Now, just take them up on the gimme. Go to waterpros.net today and request your free water test, or call 303-862-5554, 303-862-5554, and you get the free test. Go from there, but for heaven's sakes, find out what the water is like at your home. And they have what they call forever chemicals and microplastics, hard water, what's in the water. You get it all for free, 303-862-5554. I mean, pick up the phone and call them or schedule it. Waterpros.net today. Our guest, we're doing a split screen with him, is Doug Malo. Hey, I got to ask you, because I'm a fan, and how did you get into the business? And who did you watch when you were a kid? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in California, Pomona.
And
how did I get into the business? That's a story. Crazy story. So I don't know if you guys can see the tattoo on my neck.
Yeah, I do. I see it.
That's my best friend Abraham's gravestone. This whole tattoo is all for him. I used to be a power lifter. I was pretty good at it. Reckless, didn't really care about it. I just like having fun with my buddies. So we travel around, have fun, play pranks, and just play to the crowd. We were always entertaining people. So we had another buddy named John. John was a wrestler. He wrestled with the Young Bucks when they were just in the indie promotions. We talked about getting in, like doing a tag team, like having fun wrestling, and like how stupid it would be if we all could do it. And then one day Abe passed away. So I'd have to, yeah. Anyways, he died young, left behind his daughter and his son. He was 27.
Wow.
That was my best friend in the world. I still wear his fanny pack all the time. It's been years and I'm still not over it. Anyways, incident happened when I was driving my truck. I was not well after the incident. I went to the gym. Somebody says, "Hey, my uncle's Rikishi. You want to get into wrestling?" And that guy was the guy with the cowboy hat, and he told me a fat lie because Rikishi's not his uncle. He has no relationship with that family. This guy's just a snake for attention. But because of that guy's lie, and I was there because of pure reasons, I felt like it all worked out in the end. But
did you go to school? Did you go to wrestling school?
Yeah, Rikishi.
Okay.
Yeah, Rikishi, he was absent for a large period of time when I first started wrestling, and then I was an over-the-road truck driver. So when I first started, I wasn't getting as much work as I needed. You know, it's been like 2.5, 3 years. Then I started going 3-4 times a week. Started working locally. And even like up to recently, like Rikishi's not any part of what happened at that promotion, by the way. He's a face for the school, but he was gone when it happened, and he would never even agree with what took place. He would never allow it to happen. That guy's just saying he's one of the best teachers, best coaches I've ever had in any sport.
Is Stu a face or is he a heel?
It depends. Depends on what side he's working. You know?
I get it.
Yeah, he can go either way. Yeah, Stu's he's over. Like when we do the Pomona shows, or he's up in Victorville, or what is it? Barstow. He does like Dollar Pro Wrestling and stuff like that.
What's the name of the promotion?
Valor Pro Wrestling.
Okay.
That's it's like for veterans. They do it out of the VFW.
Okay.
But yeah, my inspirations: The Rock,
right.
Stone Cold.
There you go.
For my character, it's mostly Deadpool and Wolverine. My personality, like I'm a baby face right now, and I'm putting out a bunch of wholesome, happy content. But who I am as a person is a very happy guy who likes to rib people all day.
You'll stay a baby now. I mean, not after this. I mean, you'd be crazy to break that.
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let me bring Adam back in. He wants to ask you some stuff as well. Adam, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, Doug, I had a question. I know that after this unfortunate incident, you're not going to be working with Knox Pro any further. I saw online that you're doing some work with Championship Pro Wrestling out in Hollywood Championship Pro Wrestling. What other companies are you going to be working for, and what's your next goal in the industry?
I'll do Rodeo Pro. God, it's I feel so bad for not having a name. My head's just all over. It's out of Orange. It's Orange County Hammer. The guy has the hammer. I don't know if you've seen the promotion with the big hammer. The guy walks around with the big hammer. Everyone takes pictures with it.
Orange County Hammer Wrestling?
No, let me try to find it really good. Excuse me 1 second. I'm going to find it because I don't want to not plug this guy. He's okay. Out.
Yeah, he'd be.
And I'm booked.
Yeah, I think it's the SoCal Hammers Wrestling Club.
It's RPW Hammer. Let's see. His name is Ben Raymond, and let me see.
No worries, we'll connect with you, and I'll link it on our page, on our website, and everywhere. So anybody who wants to see where you're performing coming up, I'll have that linked to our site.
And we will also. Go ahead, please.
Theater of Combat, Relentless Pro Wrestling. It's Relentless Pro Wrestling.
Okay. And there's a GoFundMe page for Stu. And do we have that up as well, Adam? Is that up on our site?
Yep, that will be linked everywhere on the Peter Boyles Show, our podcast page, our YouTube, our website, everywhere. Please go and help Stu. Donate as much as you can or as little as you can. Just make sure you donate. Help out Stu.
And you can buy some merch, and you can do it, everything. And all the money goes. And this, swear to this Doug Malo, who's with us right now, he stopped a murder. He truly would. This guy would have killed him. And you expect charges to, I mean, I do too. I can't imagine that he does this and then gets away with it. I just can't imagine.
Yeah.
And that's
I just have to comment.
So a final, Doug, a final thought about all of this, because, I mean, they have shoots in wrestling, and I know a lot of guys that fought in the shoots in the Egg Dome and all those guys, but this isn't what this was. This was, and he almost looked like his father. I mean, I saw Rampage fight live once, and he had that brutality, and that's what made him so great. But that isn't what this was. Mm-hmm. This was, I don't know.
It was premeditated.
Yeah. Man.
If you look, I don't know if you've seen the video about what he was saying before he went into the ring. He was talking about how he always dreamt of beating up a pro wrestler.
Yeah,
He was so gassed up by his chat. Somebody tell him to get a receipt, tag his shit. Sorry, Patricia. That was his exact line. That guy, it was a perfect storm for two people to have their lives ruined. And none of it should have happened. It was senseless, careless, stupid. I can't say enough negative things about how that all came to be.
Well, you certainly were the hero in that moment, and I expect to see you on national television. The little I know about pro wrestling, and it's pretty limited, but I had myself the best times I've ever had was those 4 or 5 years that I worked for those guys. But somebody's going to see you, and I have never seen you work, but somebody is going to grab you and say, you'll go to a major promotion. I really predict that, simply because of what your heroics were that day. And knowing that little bit that I know about pro wrestling, you're ideal, and you're an ideal face. And, what's the lemons and lemonade? So that's my expectation, and I know you're going to stay, but obviously we'll be there, and you'll be there. You're there for Stu now. You're what makes it right, brother, man. You really did everything. I was blown away. I watched this, and then you took some shots. He hit you. So
yeah, now he had split my eye open, and I had to return fire just to get compliance because he was still fighting people. He was incensed. You could see it in his eyes, and I think I got him with a right hook. But he had a really tight guard while he's being held down. It's not like I'm hitting him and he's able to duck and dodge. I was just trying to get him to slow down.
No, I saw it.
Yeah, it's just terrible. Actually, I mean, I even still feel bad. It's crazy. I don't wish ill will on anybody. It's just the whole situation's got my mind all over.
I can imagine. I mean, it's just, if for the folks, just Google it. I mean, just do it, wrestler who stopped Raja Jackson, and you'll see it on so many sites. I've watched it 2 or 3 times, and this is the guy who did it, and he's a hero, and he's saved a man's life, and we'll see what happens next. But really, I expect to see you, move up to a major promotion, just predicated on how brave you were that night. So, you know that those big guys are thinking about it. So, I know we'll see you, Doug. I know we'll see you wrestle, and I don't give it much time. I give it a month and a half, and you'll turn up someplace. And it's a great payoff for what you accomplished. So
yeah,
take care of yourself.
It's not something.
Yeah.
I will.
All right, sir. We'll talk.
It's just, I would have rather have earned it, but yeah,
No, I know,
but thank you.
But you get the door open, and then it's your job. It's like from what David, what I'm being told by Adam, that he's seen some of your tapes and you're a good worker. So every reason in the world to think you'll hit the top. Go get them.
Thank you, sir.
We'll remember. Thank you, Doug. Thanks for doing the show. Doug Malo, everybody. All right. 303-696-1971 is our phone number. It is 11:36, 24 before 12. Lines are wide open, and we should do open lines between now and 1 o'clock. It's Labor Day weekend, and Labor Day was things have changed again. Now it's just sales and people taking the day off. But when I was a boy, there were Labor Day parades. I don't know if there's a Labor Day parade in Denver. I would suspect there should be. But boy, this was big stuff for the Union, and the Knights of Columbus would march, and the bands would play, and I was a little boy, and they would come down Allegheny River Boulevard, and we would watch them play. And then later, as a young guy working in a mill, the Union would throw big parties, and they'd take tables, and they'd take sawhorses and put doors on the sawhorses. I remember it so well. And put there were doors without hardware, just blank doors, and the Iron City beer trucks would come, and man, they have pots of sauerkraut and kibasi, and and there would be softball games, and one year they actually had fights, and it was just really cool stuff. And I wonder now, and that gets back into the union movement and stuff we've talked many times. A little bit of rain, and 78 will be the high. 80 and Sunday, 82 on Monday. Our times good? Our times are good? All right. Open lines, we can start. This is Dave in San Francisco. Wow. Good morning and welcome to the show. Dave, thank you.
Hey, Peter. Yeah, I've been listening off and on throughout the day. Been a good show. The environment is a big part of what I work on. I work on hazardous waste issues and, clean up of hazardous waste and cleaning up pollution. And that Project 2025 crowd, you know, the people that are sponsoring J.D. Vance and Trump, they have gone to the extent, you're familiar with fracking. You know, just 2 months ago, the state of Texas decided that they were going to allow fracking water to be used in agricultural products. So, you know, obviously you're a lot closer to Texas than we are, but whether or not it's hay, whether or not it's alfalfa for horses, imagine all of the agricultural products that could be sold in Colorado that would be grown with fracking water.
All right, let me do this. I got 30 seconds to the pause. Put you on hold. We'll bring you back on the other side. 303-696-1971. It's all open lines now until 1 o'clock. Labor Day weekend. Peter Boyles, 710 KNUS, Denver's talk station. Stay right here.
Your KNUS forecast for the Denver metro area keeps us long on clouds for the first day of this Labor Day weekend. Temperatures pleasant, cooler than average as well, and we will see additional showers and some weak thunderstorms. Highs today, mid to upper 70s. Clearing tonight, low to mid 50s. Dry conditions Sunday and Monday, Labor Day, sunny and gorgeous. Highs, low 80s. Weather is a service of L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. That's bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. I'm meteorologist Mark Huer in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Saturday morning, everyone, August 30th, the beginning of Labor Day weekend, Monday, of course, Labor Day, 710 KNUS, Denver's talk station. The weather's kind of iffy right now, but it turns around 80 on Sunday, 82 on Monday. 710 KNUS 303-696-1971. David's calling from San Francisco, and he calls the show from time to time, and he is could you call yourself a Trump critic? Is that what you would call yourself?
Well, I've known that he was organized crime for a long time, and it's not just that he's a target of me, but that Paul Manafort and Roger Stone, if you look at their history, they were called the Torturers Lobby, and that they had actually been the PR agents for torturers all the way back to Ferdinand Marcos. And if you remember, Ferdinand Marcos, he looted the Philippines.
I was going to say, but Trump wasn't in power during Ferdinand, and certainly,
no.
I mean, any of those people. Why do you say that?
Well, when Donald Trump was originally running back in 2015, he made Paul Manafort his campaign manager. And so that's when the hairs on the back of my neck started to rise. And to look at, if you look at Paul Manafort and Roger Stone, they had a PR company, and they had, I think there were 6 different dictatorships in Africa that they handled. There were a bunch in the Middle East. There was the Ukraine in 2014.
But that's not unusual. Right now, the Saudis have hired every influence peddler in the United States to stop the investigations on the role of Saudi Arabia in 9/11. So.
Oh yeah. And so when it was bad enough that a guy that was or a pair of crooks that would actually help to create dictatorships in Central America and
here's a breakthrough. The Saudis have hired John Podesta. Podesta was, of course, Hillary Clinton's guy, and the Podesta the whole group now is working for the Saudis. Is that the same?
It can be, yeah.
It is.
Why taking money from Mr. Bonesaw? There are a whole bunch of musicians that will never play. Bob Dylan doesn't play Saudi Arabia. There are a whole bunch of different famous musicians that don't take dirty money from people like that.
The United States of America itself propped up numbers of these people around the world.
Right, and that's the whole point. And so when Paul Manafort and Roger Stone were wandering around the world maintaining dictatorships for the stability of the old boy network, that was bad enough. But then when a guy starts running for president and decides to make one of those the campaign manager in America, then all of a sudden, you're talking about whether or not I hate Trump. Donald Trump he hates America. And that's when, my great-great-great-grandfather signed the Declaration of Independence. And I do not like a guy that's a traitor to
you believe, let me get this straight. You believe Donald Trump's a traitor to America?
Oh, absolutely. Does he believe in taxation with representation? This whole thing about Texas redrawing the congressional districts so that the white districts are going to have 400,000 people, but black districts are going to take 2 million people. So there is no taxation with representation. And even as bad as
right now, California is redrawing too, are they not?
They sure are, and a whole bunch of other ones, and exactly because, this all goes back to 1914 when Congress was topped out at 435 members. If you read the original Constitution, it says that we're supposed to have a congressman that'll handle 30,000 people. And right now it's 700,000 and up.
I would remind you that prior to all of that, in that time frame. In the Senate was the Millionaires Club, and the folks in the local houses would vote for whom was going to go represent their states in the Senate. It was simply a matter of wealth in most cases. So.
Oh yeah, I agree, but that's the Senate, not the House.
No, but the game changes. The game changes.
But the House. Well, but the point is that taxation. The founding fathers felt that the best number to have honest taxation with representation was to have a congressional district that had 30,000, somewhere between 25 and 40,000 people. And so the original Constitution said 30,000 was what we were going to have. And then sometime in the 1800s, they doubled it. They said 60,000. And then in 1914, they all of a sudden said, Congress is only going to have 435 members. And so the workload on a congressman gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Mm-hmm. And now we're well over 700,000 per congressman.
But that's the population of the country. I mean, Dave.
No, 700,000 per person.
But the population of the country has expanded. We've tripled our numbers from that moment that you're describing, maybe quadrupled.
Right.
So, what would you then do?
It went up over 17-fold.
So, regardless,
since 1914.
What would you then do?
If you look at Bobert's old district, I used to live out in Grand Junction, right? And Bobert's district covers up and down the entire western slope, Utah line all the way down. She had 3/4 of the state. She had the mountains. She had the Air Force Academy.
But it's listen to me. It's population. We have.
Oh, I understand that. But in other words, a congressional district is supposed to represent the needs of specific areas. And when you start looking at people that live in the mountains have got needs that are different than people out in the
do you even know the name of the first district's congressperson in Colorado? And how long she served?
I was living out there all during the 90s, and I was.
She was there. She had the job. She had the job then.
Was that? I'm trying to think. She had the kind of an odd voice that is kind of a squeaky voice. The Democrat.
The point of it is she represents far more people than. And I'm not defending Boebert, but the first district congresswoman, takes care of infinitely more people.
Well, the point is, though, is that we're not getting taxation with representation.
But Diana, 1 minute. Does Diana DeGette, who's a Democrat in a first district of Colorado, and with far more people than Boebert represents on a good day? I don't understand your argument.
Well, the point is that when you look at a congressional district, you're supposed to have that's a huge job to be a congressperson.
I understand, but what does that have to do with what you're saying?
Well, we're talking basically about whether or not Donald Trump believes in taxation with representation, and whether or not the Congress people, even since 1914, have been able to provide taxation with representation.
That begins at federal income taxes. Right then. Let me ask you this: are you paying enough taxes? Do you think you pay enough? Would you like to pay more?
I don't mind paying taxes if I actually get representation.
No,
I don't mind getting good, clean water. I don't mind getting
look what you're doing.
Systems.
David, look what you're doing. I mean, there is enough spending. I don't want to spend more money on taxes. I want the government to clean up what they're spending now. Why would you? And I'm under a minute, but why would you want to pay more? For what?
It's not an issue of paying more. It's getting what we need.
Well, you're not.
In other words, if you're living in you're living near enough to Rocky Flats, old land. Lake
We talked
Stanley,
about Rocky
right?
Flats this morning. But listen, I'm out of time in the hour, as always. 303-696-1971. A guy shoots me a text here about Donald Trump's health. Do I think Donald Trump's healthy? Open lines. Stay in here on Labor Day. it is a Saturday, August 30th. It is Labor Day weekend. We're at the beginning, and we got some weather. Man, it looks great out there now, and the whole rest of the weekend will be beautiful. This is 710 KNUS. We are Denver's talk station, 303-696-1971. We had with us Hannah Metzger this morning on this crime expo and the cancellation of a Ramsey film entitled John Benet's Tricycle. And then Doug Malo, the fighter, was on. And now we're in open lines, and we'll go to the phones, but I'm being barraged this morning about Donald Trump death rumors. Have you guys seen any of this? But where is Donald Trump? And is Trump dead? Why the U.S. president has really not shown up in public now for 3 days. Well, Donald Trump's health has always been an issue. And then they talk about J.D. Vance. I've been getting hit with this. Vance, in an exclusive interview, said he's ready to be president. Why would he say that? And where is Trump? And do you think this is nonsense? But it seems to be the tasteless trolls. Trump is dead. And I'm getting a bunch of different 303-696-1971. We go to Tim in Littleton, starting open lines. Tim, good afternoon, and thank you.
Hey, Pete. Thanks, buddy. Another banger of a show, man. You're really knocking out.
Oh, you're kind. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't catch all the shows, but when I go to the gym, I'll catch you on the podcast. But hey, the John Benet Ramsey case really sparked my interest. I'm not a native Coloradan. We've been here about 8 years when I retired from the military. You got any books to recommend, or could you put something on the website, the 710 website?
There really has never been a good book.
Damn.
Perfect Murder, Perfect Town was a long time ago. There's been the John and Patsy Didn't Do It books written by John and Patsy, and a true Patsy, Paula Woodward, and some of these people. But no, I mean the definitive Ramsey book has not, to the best of my knowledge, has not been written. But you can go on the internet and just Google all of this stuff. And hey, by the way, Donald Trump, this is just handed to me in spite of all these texts. The president has not been seen since Tuesday, fueling speculation of his mortality. And then all of a sudden he appears. President Trump shows, listen how the media handles this. Signs of life going missing for 4 days as evidence of his declining health. Trump, 79, was spotted by reporters this morning on his way to a golf outing, dressed in a white polo and a MAGA hat. I mean, this is just amazing stuff. And anyhow, I just wanted to read this to you. No, I don't think there is any good book. I think it's more, more just sitting and reading about what they did.
Yeah, and is there any possibility that that case could be reopened if there's enough public interest?
There's always
no statute of limitations.
Now, public interest won't open up. Boulder is such a bizarre place, and when it came to this case and this story, they had a DA who, in essence, gave them a pass, and it's almost like not. I don't think there's anybody up there that's got the heart to reopen the case, but it's a denial, and it's a tragedy that they got away with it, but they did. And this nonsense that's coming to town, again, that Hannah talked about, and it's typical Ramsey stuff that John apparently is connected to the promoter, and they wouldn't even give her a press ticket, and they kicked out the family with the guy with the film. We're going to try and find him, but no, they did this stuff for years. They had controlled access to reporters that would write wonderful things about them, and it isn't there. So
Okay.
yeah, no, to me, at this point, it's a historical event of how it doesn't work, and how there were people that were just destroyed because they told the truth. So, I mean, I wish there were, Tim, but there isn't.
Yeah. All right, brother.
Fair enough. Thanks, man. Thank you. Thank you. It's always, look at the pages on the internet this morning. Trump dead rumors. Where is Trump? J.D. Vance gives update on Donald Trump's health. Trump is dead. Why U.S. president has become an unlikely trend. Where is Donald Trump? Concerns rise as POTUS goes missing from public view. And then this morning he turns up. And what do they call it? Signs of life. Like one of those ransom notes. Back to the phones we go. This is Frank in Denver. Frank, you're on a radio show. Good afternoon. Thank you.
Hey, Pete. Happy Labor Day.
Thank you.
Hey, I had a question about some of the legalities surrounding this attack in the ring of both.
Did you see the video?
No, I have not.
Wow.
And I was asking more of you as a question of what you know about this, but maybe there's some lawyers out there in the audience that could comment both on the culpability of the guy that lost it and went ahead and really went out of the realm of what was considered normal and attacked this guy, and then what are the rights of the guy that got attacked if he did indeed receive brain damage to turn around and sue this guy, or do they have waivers that both of them sign?
What's an assault? I mean, it's an assault. If Dan were here or someone else were here, but it's an assault, and I could call it Sheriff Reams, but I mean, I don't think it's any different. Somebody beats somebody in a bar like that.
Well, I guess that's my question. Is there any protection? Who draws the line? Is the ref have responsibility to do that?
They're pro wrestling. I mean, it's like they're working, and that's what when Doug Malo said everybody backstage is a worker. Well, that means everybody backstage was a wrestler, and they did not. Raja Jackson should have not been back there. Number one, and number two, wrestling is. I'm sure this is a shock, but wrestling is they're working. They know what they're doing, and this guy gets, and it was took what
triggered him? What do you think triggered him?
Well, according to what I'm reading on the internet, he's half nuts, and his dad is this legendary fighter, Rampage Jackson, who really was great. And I watched Rampage fight here in Denver, and I mean he's awesome, and he's retired now, but this kid grew up with him, and apparently was troubled as a boy and a young man. He was troubled, had problems, but he's got all the physicalities of the old man. I mean, he's a puncher, he's a goer, and he went after this guy, and the guy. Well, first of all, he picks the guy up and slams the guy on the back of his head, which is, you don't do that. You let guys go on their backs. And he took the guy out, and the guy was out cold after the slam. Then he just dropped on him and started beating his face. And a stupid referee stands there, and this other guy stands there. And then there's a run-in by Doug Malo, who runs in and dives on him. He starts punching Malo. And, I mean, I don't recommend watching the video, but I say watch the video. It's a brutal video.
Well, yeah, no, I guess my question was more about the legalities surrounding this. If somebody like this, after an attack like this, could get some kind of restraining order for ever being able to be allowed in the ring. I don't know. I'm just opening up.
No. Here's what I think will happen. The guy that was beaten up, I think it'll be up to the doctors if he gets back in. Doug Malo, mark my words, will now be a hero, and everybody that loves pro wrestling watched that. And if the phones haven't already rung, they will ring. And he would draw money now if he went into auditoriums. If you announced in a semi-main event some heel and Doug Malo, and Malo wins, and he wins, he's heroic. He saved another wrestler's life, and they'll put him over.
Well, it sounds like this guy that got punched has got some brain damage now, and it sounds like he may have some needs, financial needs for the long term.
Well,
there's
a GoFundMe. They're over $200,000 this morning. We looked at
$200,000 is nothing. That's not going to take care of him for life.
That's right. Well, he's sitting up and smiling. I've seen pictures of him this morning, and he's sitting up smiling. So I think he's making a recovery.
Well, I hope he recovers. But I guess my question again is legalities. Where do they stop? How aggressively should these refs be intervening? Those kind of things.
But it's so unexpected. The ref is a player. The ref is part of the act. The ref is in on it, and the referee is oftentimes calling shots, telling people what to do. They're coordinated. It's put together before it even begins, and so the ref was probably stunned by it, but he didn't do anything about it. And if you watch MMA or UFC, these refs will dive on top of the guy to stop the fight, because they know how Rampage Jackson, or anyone for that matter, once the ending begins, they're just ruthless. They don't end. And the referee will literally jump on the fighter that's going to win, or put his body between the fighter who's swinging and the fighter who's receiving to stop it. There's a guy, Big John McCarthy, who I just really love watching him, and a couple different of these other referees. They really are referees. In professional wrestling, the referee is an actor, and he probably was as shocked as everybody. But then you don't know, is it a gimmick? And it was a shoot. This guy let him have it, and Malo apparently saw it, ran into the ring, and saved the guy's life. But if you watch the real fights, real UFC fights, the referee doesn't put up with anything, and he has to control the ring, and he'll dive. Do you want to see somebody? Remember the name Mills Lane? Remember Mills Lane? He was that little bitty guy who was a judge, and he'd be in the ring in those big fights in Vegas. Mills Lane was like, he just did not put up with anything. His chin would hit some guy in the chest, some big heavyweight, and he'd tell him what to do. So there's a difference. Pro wrestling, the referee is right in on it. He knows what these guys are going to do. So
hopefully this guy comes out of it. But
I do too. We'll see. But it's just so bizarre. But and Malo expects, and other people expect, that Jackson will be he'll be charged with assault, with intent. He would have killed him. Thank you for your call. All right, 303-696-1971. Isn't it interesting how this Trump story? I mean, for now, where is Donald Trump? Concerns rise. So Trump shows up. They said signs of life. It's like, come on with the media. And I mean, is Donald Trump healthy? That was one of the, and there's a text, Donald Trump is the healthiest and most transparent president in history. Okay? Do you think Donald Trump's healthy?
Define healthy.
Yeah, well, I don't know. He's 79 years old, and I'm 81. I can tell you it's not the same.
Well, he's definitely overweight, so that would factor in, but I think he's good enough.
Well, they do these pictures. Drudge does it all the time, and they show his ankles, and then they talk about that there are all these different things on his hands. So they have to put face paste on his hands and get himself straightened out. I don't know. And J.D. Vance gave the update, and J.D. Vance in that interview said he's ready to be president. Do you think Donald Trump's healthy? I mean, is it true about eating the Big Macs? I don't even know do you think it is? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. Do you, by the way, here's one. That's a good open lines question. Do you think Donald Trump is healthy? Now think about them compared to Joe Biden. When they say he's the healthiest president, Obama was healthy. And George W. Bush rode those mountain bikes. I mean, I don't know if Donald Trump could do that or not. But healthy, healthier than whom? Ronald Reagan cut wood. That's what he did. He would cut wood for an exercise. 303-696-1971. Do you believe that Donald Trump is healthy, or do you believe he is unhealthy? And where is Trump? Now they discover, he's appearing in public. Hasn't been seen since Tuesday. Signs of life. It goes, fueling speculation about his mortality as he exhibits signs of declining health. Do you believe that? Dan Capitalist Law. And Danny suggests that you should choose a lawyer who shares your values, and because who you choose to represent you in an injury case says a lot about you to everybody involved in the case. Capitalist Danny, of course, is someone we've talked about it so many times. His dad was a Chicago cop. Danny was from Chi and believed to be the only lawyer in Colorado history to win 5 straight multi-million-dollar verdicts in Colorado crash cases. Dan's also believed to have won the largest truck crash case verdict in Colorado history. Dan Capitalist Law, the official law firm of the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche, the Capitalist Law firm, serious firm for serious cases. If you want to get a question answered, you call Dan, 303-770-5551, 303-770-5551, or on the internet, Capitalist Law, C-A-P-L-I-S, that's dancapitalist.com, dancapitalistlaw.com, 303-770-5551. We're a minute to the pause, and there's nobody on the phones. If you were trying to call and got a busy, this is the chance to come right in. 303-696-1971. Do you think Donald Trump's healthy? That's really interesting. And do you think that these stories, or do you think it's more part of the media, or this idea he's the healthiest and most transparent president in history? There's a picture of Bill Clinton this morning. He looks horrible. And they look like he's got some kind of a medical device with him. But Obama and George W. Bush, were they healthier? Was Herbert Walker Bush healthier? Was Ronald Reagan healthier? Trump is the healthiest and most transparent president in history. Is he? Was he? And all these, do you think he's healthy? I think that's a great question. Say here, 303-696-1971. Afternoon, everybody. Labor Day weekend.
The Denver forecast on this Saturday, partly sunny skies with a 60% chance for afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms, highs topping out in the upper 70s. For tonight, lingering showers till about midnight, low temperatures down to 55. Sunny on Sunday, highs near 80. Weather brought to you by L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. That's bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. I'm day weather meteorologist Patricia Sutter in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
afternoon, everybody. August 30th, 2025, Labor Day weekend. I'm Peter Boyles. We have one line open, 303-696-1971. If you were calling the show and got a busy before, you can get right in, asking for an update on what's happened at Ponderosa High School. The answer is nothing. We have contacted Corey McNally, of course, the teacher who objected to the school putting on the play about Matthew Shepard, the Laramie Project, and he got canned, and they called him a racist, a sexist, a misogynist, a drunk, and of course I've met the guy, you name it. None of those things are true, but he protested the Laramie Project. So the answer is nothing. It's been neutral since then. A couple of text messages. Few people could keep the pace President Trump keeps. Again, Trump is the healthiest, most transparent president in history. Let's go to Robert. Robert, you're on the radio show. Good afternoon, and thank you. Robert?
Oh, yes.
You're on the air.
Oh, yes. I was wondering, you were saying something about President Trump's health.
Was asking, do you think Donald Trump's healthy?
Well, I think he's been healthy, but, lately he has been showing signs of aging. He forgot Christy Whitman's name, and Christy Todd Whitmer. And then he forgot Azerbaijan when he was talking about how he made peace with Albania. And
Pakistan and India. Pakistan and India, he did that. But go ahead.
Yes. He was talking about Armenia and Azerbaijan. He pronounced Azerbaijan, and Armenia instead of, what he should have. And then when he was walking on the red carpet to meet Putin, if you watch him, he's kind of wandering around a little bit.
I saw that as well.
And and then he has these problems with the edema in his legs. And unless he gets on a much better diet and a program, he's going to start probably having troubles. And, what Biden did, get progressively worse with his memory and that sort of thing.
He's 79 years old. Do you believe he's healthy?
I think he's been healthy, but I don't think he is now. I think he's starting to pile up on him. So that's my idea.
Did you ever see that picture of Jimmy Carter on Inauguration Day and his final day in office? He looks like he aged 20 years. I mean, these guys, the pressure that must be on anybody that sits behind that desk. Wow.
Yeah, it's definitely very taxing, to say the least. And I was also wondering about Kevin Tubbs. You said you were going to say something about him.
We're still trying to find him, and I talked to him yesterday, and he's come through surgery, and he thought he was going to go. He told me he's going to go home, and that he was going to be on the show at 9 o'clock this morning. And I don't want to, we can't find him, so.
Yeah, I saw on LinkedIn he had a post about how he had cancer of the
yes, he does.
prostate or something. And
he did.
Had to have surgery. But in any case, personally, I think Trump is, he's the things he does about sending the National Guard in, where he bullies all these foreign leaders, where he puts illegal immigrants in these detention camps that are on the verge of being cruel and unusual punishment. I think he's off his rocker. I voted for him because I thought Kamala Harris was much worse. But, you know, Trump is definitely, as far as I'm concerned, I know this from the beginning, suffers from a narcissism and compulsive lying. I mean, look what he did to Ted Cruz when he had David Pecker, the editor of the National Review, put all those pictures of those women that Pecker and National Reviews, not National Review, National Enquirer, said he was having affairs with them.
Yeah.
And it came out, and then he said his Cruz's father was involved in
the plot to kill Kennedy.
Yeah, and then David Pecker made a plea agreement, and it's in court admitted he made the whole thing up, and he apologized there in court to Trump for having to admit that in that plea deal.
So, two questions. One is, you believe that Trump was healthy but is now unhealthy?
I think he's getting unhealthy. He's not there yet.
And the other part of what you believe?
About him being narcissistic?
And you believe he's crazy?
Well, I think he's incredibly. I think he does a lot of good things, but when you lie like somebody like that does, and when they use all the kinds of language that he does, and then he bullies everybody, says he wants to take over Greenland and wants Canada to be.
How much of that do you think is just? He loves being in the media, and loves having the stories about him. Do you think that's just he just says it to draw attention? Does he say it like the Finland story, Gulf of America? I mean, I go over the Cracker Barrel. Somebody sent me a text this morning that he ended the Cracker Barrel War. That he does this stuff, says these things, just to get that kind of attention and have people think. I don't know. I mean, I'm asking. Is it hype?
Well, in my opinion, he's always pushing the envelope.
Oh yeah.
And he sees what he can get away with, how much resistance he's going to get. Just like Newsom is now saying they've got to take it seriously that he wants to run for a third term.
Yep.
So, he sees how far he can push the envelope, and then he goes with it. So,
Newsom is asking whether or not Trump will leave. In other words, and there are all these other people say he won't make 4 years, and Newsom says, well, when the election is over, that he will not leave the Oval Office, and but a lot of that is they're hyping on each other. I mean, that's kind of, although Donald Trump.
That's what they were saying about Obama. Yeah, everybody was afraid he wasn't going to leave, and then Reagan, when he was the oldest elected president at 68 years old, and then he did get dementia as he was leaving the office.
In the end, that's right, he did, or he was when he left. But he knew it, on some level he knew it, and it wasn't the auto pen stuff that we watched with Joe Biden that we're now hearing. I mean, I don't think anybody faked Reagan or some machine wrote Reagan's signature. I don't believe that. But
no, I don't either. But the thing is that when you get into your late 70s, 80s, unless you go through a lot of trouble, exercising, getting on a really good diet, having personal trainers, doing things mentally to keep yourself sharp, you're going to degrade. And that's my opinion.
Absolutely. No, but both of our opinions. But he's 79 years old, and how much of this is, do you think, hype, or how much of this his health, the concerns that are expressed by a media that doesn't like him. That's the curve.
Oh yeah, sure. The media's all over it.
Yeah.
I watched 2 videos yesterday where they said he was the oldest president in history, and of course, we know Biden was older. So I just take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Personally, I think he'll probably make it through his 4th year.
I do too.
That's my opinion.
No, I do too. I do too. But somebody needs to do what you say. I don't know if he's eating those Big Macs every day like you hear, and fries and that kind of stuff, and relentlessly drinking Diet Pepsi or Diet Coke, whatever it is. And I'm going, well, if you're an old guy, and if that's true, you can't do that. I'm sorry, you just can't. But on the other hand, everybody here is telling me he's healthy, and I let it go. I appreciate your call. It's very, very good. Thank you, Robert. Thank you a lot. Be safe. 303-696-1971. This is Gary. Gary, you're on the radio show. Good afternoon, and thank you.
Oh, hi, Pete. I hope you're well.
Oh, man.
I'm pro-Trump being dead.
You think he's what? Say that again.
If he is dead, I would be all for it, but I don't think he is.
Oh no, he's appeared. This is the headline, which shows you how brutal it can be. Trump heads off death rumors by finally appearing in public.
Yeah. Anyway, Peter, I think one of the reasons why we love having open mic with you is it gives us an opportunity to kind of talk about what we would talk about if we were in your seat. So I wanted to make a suggestion. There's one of your good friends is in his last term, his last year, being on Denver City Council, and that is Kevin Flynn.
Oh, sure.
And I was wondering, there's a lot of things going on. I like to keep up to date with what's going on with City Council because it's like a soap opera. And, Kevin is kind of like, he finds himself as the only adult in the room very often. And I think it would be really interesting to hear him talk about look behind the curtain as to what he through as a city council member. I think he's been one for about 7 years.
Oh, yeah.
Now.
He's term limited after this. He's done. And
No,
Kevin and I are very good friends, and I went with Kevin and his wife to see that film, The Order. He's told me that he's going to. I said, "What are you going to do, Kev, when you walk?" And he said, "I'm just going to retire," which it's got every reason in the world to do so. So, but you know what? Let's wait until almost to the end of his career, and I'll stick him in studio with us, and he'll see what he has to say. Fair enough?
Yeah, Pete. One other thing I wanted to talk about. You remember Doge, right? Doge.
Oh, sure, of course.
And we never have really seen the receipts about how much they really save. But I wanted to give you one real life fiasco that they created. I work for the IRS,
mm-hmm.
and we went through the reduction in force, and what they wound up doing is making a buyout offer. And of 100,000 employees, 25,000 decided to take the buyout. So they've canceled the layoffs.
Wow.
And now what they're doing is they cut so deeply, now they're trying to bring back the people that left.
I didn't know any of that, but I know when people took cuts, listen, this is serious stuff. You take somebody and you tell them after 15 years you're out of here. Let it go at that.
We had a lot of really senior, 20, 30-year people.
I know.
Who decided to leave, and they cut so deeply, they're trying to bring them back after paying them for the last 5 months for not working. So it just gives you one example of how Doge was a fiasco.
Thanks for your call. Be safe. Here we go again. 303-696. 1970. Gunga Din from Brighton. You're on the show.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Well, you were asking if, about our president's mental acuity right now, and I think he's definitely on the decline.
Because
he gets started on a sentence. I think he forgets what he's talking about in the middle of it, and then he changes the subject, and he's not coherent. I think he's definitely got problems, and I wonder if he'll ever have another debate. But he's got the audacity to think that I think he really thinks he can run for a third term. I really do. I think
if he's got guys like John,
he does,
like John Eastman, his constitutional advisor,
exactly,
who has been disbarred in California. No,
yeah.
I think he says stuff just to let me put you on hold. Put her on hold, please. I would do a turnaround here. Good afternoon, everybody. 710 KNUS Labor Day weekend, 303-696-1971. afternoon, everybody. It is Labor Day weekend. It's Saturday, August 30, 2025, 710 KNUS with really nice weather. It's really turned around out there. We are talking about Donald Trump's health. And let's see, well, this one is Donald, I'm not going to read that one. I'll just let that one go. This is Gunga Din, who doesn't think that Donald Trump is in good health. Gunga, go ahead.
Well, I don't. I think health goes along with his mind, which I think is really slipping. But what I want to talk about too is the fact that he is taxing so much the middle class and leaving, the taxes which should be much more for the wealthy, like all his cronies that he hangs out with, and he's doing them a favor. They pay less than the middle class. I think that is really sick. The guy should be giving. I'd love to see his will. He should give all his money to the poor.
Can I read you something and you
Sure.
respond? Pete, it cracks me up. All these callers are saying Donald Trump is in decline. The one thing they have in common is they don't like him. We went 3.5 years watching our former president stumble around and not able to complete a sentence. Nobody hardly said anything until they were forced after the debate. Is that true? One doesn't.
Well, yeah, that was. I blame Joe Biden for a lot of things, and he definitely should have do like what he said he was going to do at the beginning of his term, and before he was even running, while he was running, say, "I'm just going to serve one term. I'm just going to serve one term," and then he changed his mind.
Back,
God, that's really disgusting. That was really a dumb move.
Most of the insiders believe that was his wife pushing him.
That's what I heard, but we don't know. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
So you don't believe one of the? I'm getting these text messaging. Why would J.D. Vance say he's ready to be president?
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean anything?
Well, because I think other people are catching on to some of Trump's faux pas, and they just think, well, gosh, what's going to happen if he really does? And he's just trying to reassure people that they're in good hands, which I don't think they're in good hands with him anyway. But I don't know. I know you and the majority of your listeners, I still think Kamala would have been better than Trump.
Ooh,
Anybody's
ouch.
better than Trump.
Ouch.
Well, that's my opinion.
I understand that, but did you ever watch her in action and the things that she was wanting to bring about? The Donald Trump.
Well, look, Donald Trump. We should get back to the subject. He was giving all the wealthy tax breaks. They were paying less taxes than the middle class. Do you think that's the right thing to do?
First of all, I don't know that held up, but
it does.
No, Donald Trump is, as they've been pointed out, he is the oldest person in American history to be presidential, to be the president. And if he goes to 2028, which would he'll be the oldest sitting president in American history.
Right.
And at the end of his second term, he will be 82 years old, 7 months and 6 days. That was just sent to me. I'll read you a couple. Donald Trump, Trump is the only president because of Trump. I don't know what that means. And the other one is caller is crazy, aimed at you. So,
God.
I can't imagine Kamala as president. I just can't.
Well, I think anybody would have been better than Trump. But I agree. I don't think,
the border needed closed. the people in
Right.
I mean,
Right. Yeah.
all right, here's
Come
one.
on.
Trump is a genius. He will live forever. There's one for you.
Oh, brother.
Why?
Yeah.
I
don't know.
So during the 24 election campaign, some people raised concerns about his age, or that he wasn't.
Right.
Here's some more text messaging.
Right.
One thing Trump can't keep a secret.
Oh, yeah, that's probably true. I think he talks before he thinks it through a lot.
Caller is cuckoo.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm cuckoo? Okay.
Caller is nuts. I'm reading them to you.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
I appreciate that, but I disagree. I think Trump is a disaster waiting to happen. He's, I don't know, God. And what all this, how's he, look how it's going with Putin now. All the things he promised, he now, it's scary.
Well, there was an internet rumor that was pretty strong that when they met, Putin told him some things that he had on him. And,
really? Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, it's the internet. Like just today, it's been Trump's missing, and then suddenly appears.
Yeah, I know.
All
It's yeah, and that's what's so bad because people get their information now. They're not reading Time magazine, the New Yorker. They're on the internet, and that's so full of
look, heritage media is extremely bent to the left, and the two great losers in November were the Democratic Party and heritage media. Here's another line for you. Caller needs to make me a sandwich.
Now, why does he say that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I just read them to you.
I was just making a chicken salad one, but I'm not going to make, and I'm not making one for him.
No, you get the picture. I mean, it's funny.
Right. Oh, that's funny.
Go back in the kitchen.
Hey, you know what I'm making? I got muffin batter for bran muffins. I'll let you know about that next week.
All right, here's another one for you. Time and New York are good for the birdcage. When you mentioned Time magazine.
That's good. Right. Yeah.
You're not doing well here.
No, I'm not. Nope. That's because I'm a thinking individual that doesn't thought that Trump was getting his information all wrong and screwing it up and doesn't have a kind bone in his body, doesn't care about the poor, doesn't care about the people that are hungry, stopping Meals on Wheels. Both my parents, after they retired, drove for Meals on Wheels. It's a wonderful organization.
Listen, after the guy sends me, caller needs to make me a sandwich, I read it, and this guy, it says, Peter will read anything. and then somebody said, chicken salad, what's her address? They're coming to eat. And
that's funny.
You're just bringing in the text messaging.
Right.
Wonder where she gets her information.
Well, I certainly don't get it from podcasts, and I get it from reliable sources.
Listen, I got an update on Stefan. I'm going to say thank you and have a good Labor Day weekend. We had Stefan scheduled for 9 o'clock. Of course, he's had cancer surgery, and we could not find him. And Adam, it is yours, if you would, please.
Yeah, everybody, I just wanted to give an update because I've got a lot of people calling and asking about Stefan because we care about you, Stefan. If you're listening, get well soon. But I want to give that update. I just spoke with him. He apologized for not being on. He was just too weak this morning from a surgery. Just too weak to come on and be with us today. But we'll reach out. We'll try to get him next week. Okay, so that he's well and at home, and he's doing good. He's just feeling a little low today. So we'll get him when he's feeling better. That's a hell of a wound. So indeed, Steph, my man. Let's see. Reliable, no, I can't do that. It's like we got a bunch of stuff sent in here that I just say, no. All right, that's it.
Have a great Labor Day weekend. Thank you, Adam, for doing such a great job, and John's doing well, and I'll see everybody next Saturday as well. So take care of yourselves. Thank you very much, and go get them, Steph. Talk to you.